Hey, good kind people, what's going on? Lee Sanders here, checking out new RCWR show. Thursday night, July the 1st, 2021, couple of days away from the 4th of July weekend. You guys got any plans? You excited for it? Definitely want to know what you guys got planned. Me personally, I don't know just yet. The past couple of years, I really have not been jumping all over the 4th of July holiday, either because I'm usually working or just I don't know. I guess with the whole pandemic and all that, I don't know. But I think this year might be different. It might be different. I gotta check with the wifey. I have a feeling that either she wants to maybe have a little bit of a small background, not background, but backyard little barbecue maybe, or we'll probably do it very conservative like what we did last year, because I know last year what we ended up doing was we pretty much just bought some potato salad, enough for like three people or whatever. We bought some hamburger buns, some hot dog buns, and we didn't want to eat too heavy, so we actually took it pretty light. I'm pretty sure we went the vegan route. No, I am not vegan. I just know good vegan food when I taste it. And plus, you kind of got to be mindful of those calories, the high cholesterol, definitely the carbs and all that. So having those vegan alternatives is awesome. It really is awesome. So I don't know. We might actually do it kind of conservative again. We'll have to see what's going on with that. Hope your week's been pretty good so far. I told you guys we were either going to be doing a show on Wednesday or it was going to be on Thursday. It just had really depended on where I was exactly with my class assignments and all that. And I had to do a really fun essay, not to bore you guys, but I did a really fun essay where I had to apply the media critical process to a movie. I had multiple options, but the option I went with to apply the critical media process was to a movie. So I basically had to pick a movie from a previous decade, any movie, and just apply the critical process to it. I chose Rocky from 1976 because I've seen that movie so many times. I would not be surprised if you were to tell me, dog, you've seen this movie at least 500 times. I would not even dispute that. I wouldn't even say bullshit on that. I would go, okay, you're probably most likely right. In my lifetime, I've probably seen this movie as far back as I can remember seeing movies. If you were to tell me I've probably seen it about 500 times, I would say, yeah, okay, yeah, that sounds about right. So I applied the critical process to that movie, which basically, in a nutshell, as far as the whole media process, it's description, analysis, interpret, evaluation, engagement. Anybody that has studied broadcast media, they definitely know all of those points that I'm talking about. So that's what I did. And the professor, I put a little note to her. I said, let me know what you think, because I'm looking forward to hearing back from you, hearing your critique of my essay and your review. And she came back actually earlier today, and she finally graded it, and she said, you did fantastic. You understand the whole critical process. You had a couple of minor errors here and there, but you crushed it. I'm like, yeah. So I spent Wednesday mainly working on that. I didn't finally get done working on that essay because I didn't get started on that essay and all that not until yesterday. And I kind of had like a whole week to do it, but it was kind of, what am I going to tackle? Sometimes you kind of get in one of those little funks where creatively you're going, well, what am I going to cover? What am I going to create here? So I kind of had that little bit of a funk there. Not so much writing, just what was I going to write about? So crushed that, had a lot of fun writing that up. So I wasn't able to check out the NXT AEW from yesterday, but I definitely was able to check it all out today. So as I mentioned earlier, we were going to be doing a show for you guys Wednesday, or we were going to be doing it for you guys Thursday. So that's how we got here tonight and everything. So we're going to try to do our best to be in and out, because I don't want to step on other shows' toes that is probably getting ready to come on in a little bit here. Some of them are my buddies, are my colleagues and everything. So Yeah. By the way, shout out to those of you that had cast your vote on that poll we had put up last week. In the middle of last week, I asked you guys, what would you all like to see as far as the future of the phone line? And I want to get this out in the open right now because at this point, I'm sticking a fork in it. It's done as far as the voting goes. I told you guys I was going to see what was going on with the traction, if any, of it. And I was looking to see if we could double the votes of what we had got going into the weekend. And it pretty much was starting to stagger, and now it's just been at a stalemate for the past couple of days. And I said to you guys, I was either going to call it on Wednesday, or based on what I was seeing, maybe I'd call it on Friday. But we can call it right now. So, posted this last week, and it goes as follows. So maybe most folks don't know, but a listener call-in line was reintroduced. It was something we did the first 4 to 5 years of the shows, and then it went away. Interested in knowing who legit wants to call into the show, if they know they can call in, please vote below. Helps me structure the shows better for you all. So we gave you guys 5 options. And here it goes as follows. Coming in at 5%. If it's not toll free, I can't call in, sadly. 5% of you had said that. Coming in at second place, wasn't aware the chat line returned. I'll call in. Tied at 14%, first runner up. Yes, phone line, I'll call in every time I can. The other tie there. Heard about it recently, I'll call in eventually. And coming in at number 1 with over 57% of the votes, no phone line. Happy just hearing Lee only and posting in the chat. Now, I know that there's probably some of you guys out there, you're hearing those results. Maybe you're at that receiving end of, well, wait a minute, man. I actually wanted to be one of the people to call into the show and all that. What the hell? Well, I came up with a little bit of a solution to all of this to try to make everybody happy. And I think this will definitely make most people happy. Okay, so I understand where everybody's. First of all, everybody that voted, appreciate you guys. Love you tremendously. But this is how we're going to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. So I understand majority don't want the phone line, but then at the same time, it was only honestly, it was a real snapshot. I only got a snapshot because the votes, it was just really a fraction of, because I see what's going on when I post stuff in the YouTube's community tab. For those of you that were kind of wondering, where was this poll? It was on our YouTube communities page and everything. That's pretty much where I do a lot of engaging these days, So what we're going to do going forward is I'm going to do my best to honor you guys that don't want for there to be a phone line. But for those of you that are interested in calling into the show, you want to sound off on some of the things that's being covered and everything, got a little bit of a solution. So Discord, in their last update about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago even, they introduced this really cool feature where you can basically host a event. Now, what do I mean by that? Not to bore you guys with the tech talk. Basically, in a nutshell, you can now not only go live with your show. So in my case, I'm going live and everything, but now they've set it up in a way where, especially with these last couple of updates that they did, you can now pretty much bring people on the air easily. Nice, smooth transition. And the best part about it is when you now go live in the Discord, assuming that you've created a stage channel. Not to bore you guys with all the tech talk, but the stage channel, when you create that, you have automatically the ability to be discoverable in the Discord community. So Basically, in a nutshell, it seems as though what Discord is trying to do now is they're trying to be even more pro-friendlier to the podcasters and trying to put them in a really good position where they can make that podcaster's content even more discoverable. So once you've created that stage channel and you're going live, Discord automatically puts it out there, and so it makes it pretty easy for people to, once they know the topic, because you got to put in a little header basically letting folks know what you're talking about and everything, and then they can pretty much come in that way. And it's really easy for not only people to listen through Discord from the Discord app, free to download and all that, but anybody that wants to, have a question, have a comment quietly, they can put in a notification, and it's really easy. The layout in a nutshell, it's really, really easy. So we're definitely going to be, to my point, we're definitely going to be integrating Discord a lot more into these shows, because I forgot the number, but I think it's somewhere between about maybe 16 to 20 million of folks that actually use Discord and all that. So just think about that, to be able to potentially tap into at least maybe 1% of the fan base from Discord. Oh yeah, you gotta take advantage of that. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing going forward. So look, I like going a little bit all over the place on these shows. So we're definitely going to be talking NXT. We're definitely going to be talking about AEW Dynamite. I know some of you guys want to know a little bit more about my thoughts about Bill Cosby being released. It definitely has close ties here to the DC metropolitan area and everything. I'll explain a little bit more later in the show for those of you that may not know about the connection and all that of Cosby here with the DC area. So we're going to go a little bit, all over the place on this show. It's going to be nice. It's going to be smooth. It's going to be nice and tight. So, kick back, enjoy my pretty babies. So, look, let's start with NXT. Let's go there, because AEW was last night. So let's go the day prior. Let's talk a little bit about NXT. Great show that they did last week. Great show. Buddy of mine had hooked me up privately with the ratings for NXT and AEW. I did not look at them, but he gave me a private message beforehand saying, hey, I know you're probably going to be doing your show today. Here's the ratings. Only look at them after you've guessed what you think they did for this week, because I know you like to do that game. So I was like, okay, cool, thanks. So I don't know the ratings just yet, so I will give a guess and then we'll see what's going on with the actual ratings. But I thought NXT for this week did a phenomenal show. Great setup for what's going to be going down with that Great Bash pay-per-view event or TV event that's going to be happening next week on the USA Network. So I thought they really had set the tone when it was all said and done. I loved how we had Karrion Kross that was brawling throughout the night with Johnny Gargano. That for me was the ultimate wow. I just couldn't help but really take a step back here, because on the one hand, and I brought this up off and on the past couple of weeks, we had a position there with Karrion Kross where, as the fan, you weren't really sure if you were supposed to boo or cheer Karrion Kross there. I brought this up a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't really hammer down on it a lot more, but I do see that there's been a lot of fans that's been a bit more vocal about what exactly is up here with Karrion Kross. We supposed to cheer him or boo him. So it's nice to see that it had picked up traction. And these past couple of weeks, we got to give the people down there at NXT a lot of props for finally definitively, no, this is what's going on with Karrion Kross. And I tell you what, if there was a little bit of concern that you might have had from Karrion Kross, it was only in the form of the fact that, okay, when he's coming out with Scarlett. Yeah, he's got that whole badass, I'm gonna freaking kill you look. I'm gonna just murder your ass. He's got that whole great look down. Everything just look what everything is phenomenal about him. But as you can see from the WWE fans that's been in attendance there at the CWC arena, the reactions has been pretty, I'll call it for what it's worth. It's been pretty lackluster. Now, he is getting some type of a reaction, but it's not unanimously where people are on their feet and they're reacting to him. You see where I'm coming from? So to see the little to no reactions that he's been getting, but then to see Johnny Gargano is getting the reactions. And let's really think about this here. Let's really set this up properly here. Not for nothing, but the Way, for the longest time, the Way were heels. And yet somehow, as you're seeing this play out before your very eyes, it has pretty much been decided, if you will, by the fans that no. We hate Karrion Kross, or we're indifferent to Karrion Kross. We dig Johnny Gargano. And it was very evident when you saw NXT this week, because remember, Karrion Kross coming to the arena there early on, Johnny Gargano just wham out of nowhere, jumping on him. You got that nice little throwdown. Gargano getting the best of Kross. Kross saying to him, okay, yeah, your ass is dead. Your ass is dead. You just made a big mistake. Your ass is dead. We see how that played out later on in the night, where Kross calls out Gargano, and Gargano actually comes to the plate. He actually steps up, whereas compared to some of the antics we've seen of Gargano in the previous weeks, Gargano has pretty much been hit and run, basically. Hit, run, talk shit, all that good stuff. I think one of the greatest examples, just look at some of the stuff that was going down there in recent memory with Dexter Lumis. Hell, you could even, but let's go there. Let's just stay with that one, because that's more recent. We don't need to go too far back for you guys. But you get the point that I'm making. So to see Gargano come out there this week telling him, yo, I might not have a sword, but what I do have is wrestling. Unlike you. I got wrestling on my side. Unlike you. So to see all that go down was just, wow. And the fans, just the way that they were reacting to Gargano and everything. Look, make no mistake about it. I feel in my heart of hearts, these two are going to have a phenomenal freaking matchup. And let's remember typically the psychology there when it comes to Gargano when he's facing these somewhat bigger guys. Everything in the kitchen sink is freaking thrown in those matches. And the way Johnny Gargano is booked in these matches, he's got that never say die mentality. Johnny Gargano will never die. So it should be a phenomenal fight. If you, at this point, you really shouldn't even call it a match, because the way these two men have just been coming after each other, it's really a fight. This is really a brawl, basically. So I'm digging it. I'm liking what's going on. But if anything, if I had one little critique, and I'm going to get to that critique in a hot second, but the way that was laid out between Gargano and Kross, nice brawling, and then once again, Gargano getting the upper hand on Kross in the ring because Austin Theory jumped Kross from behind, and now you got Gargano and Theory that's jumping on Kross. And I love how Kross pretty much, sometimes Kross reminds me of DC Comics Doomsday, right? From the standpoint of, okay, you're coming after him, you're hitting him with some really sweet ass good offense, and it's connecting. Oh man, you're piercing him. You're piercing him with your skills, but after a few seconds of absorbing, Kross just starts to have, he's like, it's almost like he's becoming invulnerable, and he just freaking, and I love that. I will say that I love that about Karrion Kross in the way that they pretty much book this guy, because the way they pretty much book this guy, it's like, no. If you really, really want to take down Karrion Kross, you're essentially going to need a lot more than 2 guys. You're really going to need about 5 to 6 guys to whoop his ass. That's pretty much what you really got to do. Sure, you can try to get him from behind and all that, but his endurance, his tolerance for pain is so high that you can make the argument that he is almost at that supernatural type of level, basically. So I love that about him. Also kind of mixed in with a little bit of Bane when you think about it as well. Remember, every single time it seems as though Bane is somewhat down and out for those brief few seconds that whoever is fighting him, he just pumps up the venom, and there's that tolerance, there's that invulnerability that's building up even more. I like that about Karrion Kross. So right down to the point, was that a black Camaro that Karrion Kross was pushing there towards the end of the night? Oh my God. Oh, I am a fan of cars, and man, there are some cars I just go, that's pretty. Ask the wifey. The wifey will tell you. The wifey knows a lot more about cars than me. I mean, me and her just alone, we could do a damn car show, honestly. If we honestly wanted to do a podcast just talking nothing but cars, talking about the engines and all that shit, I'm telling you, just her car knowledge alone is fucking badass. We could be out on the street, or we could be at a stoplight, and I'll look at a car and I'll be like, ooh, that's pretty. Ain't that a blah, blah, blah? And she'll be like, no, that's actually a blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah. Like, I challenge that. Get to a point, we'll honk the car at the driver. Hey, settle a debate. We're saying it's a 1957. I'm saying it's a 1957. She's saying it's a 1962. Which one is it? Oh, yeah, 1962. And it's like, and she... but sometimes I get the dub as well. So, but that was a sweet ass car that he had. He's getting ready to exit out there for the night. Gargano, Theory jumping on him yet again. And then you think about how I laid out that whole tolerance for pain and all that. Here he comes hulking right back. And I just love how I laughed my ass off. Actually, I laughed when he choked out Johnny. I mean, just night, just knocked out. Laid him out. It's like, who's joking now? Who's joking now? Choked him out. Love that. Freaking love that. And then to add more insult to injury, to just basically punch Austin Theory in the back of the head, kind of like with the forearm, basically, to lay out Austin Theory. Badass. Freaking badass. But this is an interesting feud. I gotta tell you. It's a very interesting feud, because this is one of those rare cases right here where, okay, it's not a face versus a heel. It's actually a heel versus heel when you really stop and think about it. And, I just wish we could go a step further into this rivalry. And maybe we will. But not for nothing. What, they're going to be getting it on, next week, ain't they? They're supposed to be getting it on next week. So, but yeah, loved all of that. Even loved the spot there where before we saw Karrion Kross that one last time during the night with the Camaro and all. I loved how the first go round in the ring when Theory and Gargano got the jump on him, you had all the security that came out, and Samoa Joe's right there, and you got Kross saying to Joe, oh, you're doing such a great job, Joe. And you got that nice stare down there between Kross and Joe. I don't know, guys. I got to be honest with you. I was really under the impression that maybe not until... What was it that I had said a couple of weeks ago? That it probably wasn't going to be until maybe Survivor Series. So about maybe November, December. Maybe that's when Samoa Joe was going to get back in the ring, get physical and all that. I don't know, man. We are doing a lot of Samoa Joe close-ups, stare-me-downs. Really makes you wonder. Really makes you wonder if in storyline Joe is even gonna make it that far, really, because we're continuing that theme. I mean, even look at what had went down later on during NXT. To my point, when Samoa Joe also had cross paths with Kylie O'Reilly there and Adam Cole. He knew that the two of these guys were going to just tear each other apart, but he had to intervene in that because he knows that's a big main event match. That's a big money match. He ain't trying to see that shit play out on regular TV. Nah, he want that to play out at a special event, pay-per-view event, special TV pay-per-view event, basically. So to see him inject himself into the whole mix while Kylie O'Reilly and Adam Cole exchange words. I gotta tell you, I'll be really honest with you guys. When I first saw Kylie O'Reilly come out there and he's on the microphone, for me personally, look, Kylie O'Reilly fans, I dig Kylie O'Reilly, man, but the mic skills just ain't there. Not yet. And I don't know if it ever will. Look, they say practice makes perfect, right? It's no different than when you pick up that video game that you've been eyeing for a couple of weeks or a couple of months. You get your ass handed to you, but you just keep playing that game over and over. You understand the controls. You understand the layouts. Okay, this enemy's going to come here, or this creature is going to come from right here. I can get a health pack right here. You know, okay, I'll be invincible for 5 seconds if I do this. Eventually, you become a pro. Practice makes perfect. That's the only way you can get better. So, but right now, his promos are oof. You know what his promos are kind of reminding me of? They're reminding me of a young Daniel Bryan when he began his career in the WWE. And remember how we all were as Daniel Bryan fans, at least for me, way before he came to the WWE. You know, you ask any Daniel Bryan fan, it was never a question about the in-ring ability when it came to Daniel Bryan Danielson. But you look way back when, his promos were not exactly strong, but you were sold on the guy because what he was able to do in that ring. And I kind of apply those same principles to Kylie O'Reilly. So practice makes perfect. You know, we'll have to see. But I tell you what, Adam Pearce, kind of like that Frank's Red Hot Sauce, he made that segment worthwhile. And then you inject Samoa Joe in there as well. That was pretty good. That continued friction that you got going on. There with Adam Cole and Samoa Joe. Good shit right there. Oh, there we go. Good shit right there. Yeah, solid fucking good shit. And then you had that tease. That's to my whole point. That tease there with Samoa Joe, Adam Cole. Once again, you're going, oh, okay, so this really can go either way. This could go in a couple of different directions here, but I will continue to tell you guys, I'm loving what I'm seeing here of the eventual matchups that Samoa Joe, make no mistake about it, he's definitely going to be wrestling. I think the real question we need to be asking ourselves is Samoa Joe going to be wrestling, okay, I'm going to take on this opponent, and then I'm not going to be doing anything for another 3 months? Is he going to be kind of that special type of a novelty act down there in NXT? Or is what all is being laid out for him right now, are we eventually going to, if you ask me, just everything that's been happening these past couple of weeks since Samoa Joe has been reintroduced to the WWE through the NXT wing? Look, y'all know I love Samoa Joe. And from time to time, people have always brought up, why hasn't he become a champion? Why hasn't he become a WWE World Heavyweight Champion? Why hasn't he become a Universal Champion? And I always come back to this point, which is the injuries. The injuries have just been adding up on the brother. if WWE would have got their hands on a Samoa Joe 10 years younger, oh, no doubt about it, Samoa Joe by now would have been most likely a 3 to 4 time WWE champion by now. For sure. For sure. So, me personally, and I know that the last go round, Samoa Joe went through a long, lengthy process of getting cleared and everything. Matter of fact, Samoa Joe just recently did an interview with Ryan Satin. Now that I'm thinking about it, he recently did an interview with Ryan Satin, and in that interview, he talked about what it was like working briefly there with Brock Lesnar. He also revealed the possibility of a John Cena Roman Reigns match at SummerSlam. Talked about the Randy Orton rumors and everything. He even provided an update on his in-ring return. I saw a couple of highlights of transcript from the interview. It's definitely something I mean to actually go out of my way and listen to. But in part, and this is very fresh, if I'm not mistaken, he did this interview, if not yesterday, I believe he did this interview earlier today. But he definitely talked about how it's been a while since he competed in the ring, and it's getting his blood boiling because he wants to get back in the ring. He's starting to feel it inside of himself, and he's ready to come back to action. This is what he said right here during the interview. Direct quote, "As soon as possible. You know, we still have some boxes. We still have boxes we're checking off and getting things set up properly and making sure everybody's okay with everything. But yeah, it's been a little bit too long. Sometimes you get the blood boiling, you start to feel it inside, and you're ready to come back." So, you know, that's what's going on there. So, I think the real question is, again, no doubt he's going to be returning to the ring, but is it going to be on a full-time basis or is it going to be on a part-time basis? And just considering everything that's been happening, look, everybody's case is different. You kind of got to do one of those, your results may vary. You know, hey, I was able to grow a beard in 3 weeks thanks to this herbal drug. Okay, well, that's great for that person, but you try using this, your results may vary. It may actually take you 5 weeks. It may take you a month. It may take you 2 months. You get the point that I'm making. I don't know. Me personally, love Joe. Slow, very methodical, and to WWE's credit, they have been so far, but installments. Just do it in installments. Don't rush. That's the beautiful thing. You look at all of those great, amazing men and women that you have down there in NXT. Yes, does having a Samoa Joe down there make it even more kick-ass, make it even more interesting? Yeah, without a shadow of doubt. But you don't need to keep coming to the well for Samoa Joe. You can definitely, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, as a novelty act, you know, you maybe want to bring him in, have him do this feud, and then do somewhat of a cool-off period for some weeks, month or two, before you go into... Because honestly, the way I would freaking do it, if it was me, I would never have Samoa Joe wrestle on NXT. Anytime it would come to Samoa Joe wrestling, he's going to be doing it on an NXT takeover event. That is exactly how I would do. I would at least do it like that for the first 6 months upon him doing his first in-ring return. I would just immediately after that, I would just, nope, you'll continue to see him on NXT, but if you want to see him fight, it's going to be on those takeover events or a special pay-per-view themed event. That's how I would set it up. So let me know what you guys think. I'm most curious if we got the same points, if you agree with me on all of those points. I'm very curious. What else came about from NXT? I don't really have any notes. I'm just going off the top of my head here. Some of the key points of interest that caught my eye with NXT for this week. But yeah, all of that stuff so far, magnifico, great shit right there. The LA Knight $1 million championship that's going to be on the line next week against Cameron Grimes. That was an interesting development that we got from NXT this week. So Cameron Grimes, yeah, I gotta tell you, I'm very surprised that, man, LA Knight got this $1 million championship not that long ago. He hasn't even held that championship for a month. And already this title is being put up on the line. And I was liking where the psychology was going when LA Knight was cutting the promo that he cut this week. By the way, one of my high marks for this week, LA Knight. Now we got more and more people that's coming around on LA Knight. And it's so funny because some of the same people that are now giving LA Knight his praise, they're finally giving the man his flowers while he's still alive. I know that's something you guys like to say now. Give the man his flowers while he's here. Now give the man his flowers. Okay. But I find it so funny that the same people that were ridiculing LA Knight when he was Eli Drake and he was doing his stuff in Impact and all of that, you know, even with NWA for a hot minute there. The same people that were ridiculing him, he's nothing. I mean, you heard all kinds of stuff. Now these same people are in his corner. And I just find that funny because when I really stop and think about it, it's, well, not for nothing, but it's, let's be real. Let's be real, especially those of us that consider ourselves fans of LA Knight, Eli Drake. Let's be real. LA Knight, Eli Drake is still the same goddamn person. If you really stop and think about it, it's still the same damn person. So what exactly has changed to make those that were ridiculing him in the past say, I don't care for that dude, whatever. Like, what exactly has changed? I'm very curious. But this soon, we've got the $1 million championship that's going to be on the line next week. And an interesting stipulation, too, because, and again, I like the psychology that went into this, because LA Knight is saying to Cameron Grimes pretty much, you know, why do you care about this $1 million championship? You know, who the hell was the $1 million man to you? He wasn't your mentor. He wasn't your dad. He wasn't your grandfather. He wasn't your uncle. So what the hell should it care to you what I did to the $1 million man and the fact that I got the $1 million championship here? You know, and that was legit a really good question and everything. And we never really did definitively hear Cameron Grimes really lay it down to LA Knight why he gives a damn, but pretty much the cliff note is basically, you are not the $1 million champion. You're not the real $1 million champion, basically. So, you know, we got this great match that's set up for next week where the stipulation is if Cameron Grimes loses to LA Knight, then he will become LA Knight's butler. I don't know about you guys hearing a stipulation like that. Yeah, I'm going to go on ahead and say Cameron Grimes is going to be LA Knight's butler. He's going to be LA Knight's butler. Without a shadow of a doubt. He's going to be LA Knight's butler. That should provide some very cool comedic relief and all that. I'm down with that. You know it's going to happen. You know Cameron Grimes is going to lose. You just know he is. So I can't help but wonder, okay, so we're going to get to, and notice one thing, we never did hear exactly how long Cameron Grimes is supposed to be LA Knight's butler if he were to lose. We never did hear that. So hopefully as we go into next week, we'll learn a little bit more about, okay, you know, how long here, what's going on. Is this a case where Cameron Grimes has to be LA Knight's butler forever? Or what? Because if you ask me, okay, Lee, what's going to be the ultimate payoff here? What's going to be the ultimate? Where do you see this kind of going here? Well, we already got LA Knight calling himself, what's he calling himself now? The mega $1 million champion or whatever, because he's got money and all that good stuff. I kind of feel as though eventually there is going to be a winner take all. I could see something down the road where maybe not only would that $1 million championship be on the line, but maybe there would also be a boatload of money. Like all the money, all the stocks, everything would maybe be up for grabs. Right? Kind of like a game of poker. I'm all in. I'm putting all my chips in. I got a damn good hand. I know I'm a beat your ass. I'm all in. I kind of see something to that nature maybe playing out. And that's how Cameron Grimes is going to get over with help from the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. So I think that's going to be the ultimate payoff. So in about maybe 3, maybe 4 months time, it is probably how I'm seeing this pan out. So we'll see. We'll wait and see. But that's kind of, first impression, 2 cents from a distance. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting right now. But good stuff right there. Good stuff right there. Give me a second. I see a mosquito. Tell you, man, summer ain't no joke. You got these mosquitoes running around. All right, so what else came to mind? You know what? Let's talk about the Mercedes Martinez spot. I kind of heard about it, but, I didn't actually watch NXT until earlier today. So I was able to see it with my own eyes. And my God, what a scary knockout that Mercedes Martinez went through there. So let's set this up properly for those of you that maybe didn't watch NXT yet, or you usually don't check it out. But Mercedes Martinez was in a match against Xia Li. And, you've been following the storyline these past, couple of weeks and everything. You know that Mercedes Martinez, Xia Li and who's the person that's sitting in that freaking throne again? Shao Kahn. I mean, that's pretty much the name that I'm giving them. I'm pretty much calling them Shao Kahn, basically. But it's weird because I remember the first kick that Mercedes Martinez took. It was early on in the match. And I looked at that spot and I said, okay, what's going on right here? And you had that referee. I sadly cannot think of her name right now. I know she's dating, what is it, Leon Ruff? If I'm not mistaken, she's dating Leon Ruff. I can't think of her name right now. Aja? I can't think of her name right now. Sorry, guys. But you're kind of looking at her, and she looks a little bit concerned, but at the same time, she's also trying to make sure that there are signs of life there for Mercedes Martinez. And, you looked at that particular spot, you're going, okay, Mercedes Martinez, she pretty much just sold this like a pro. All right, let's keep watching this. But then later on in the match, right after Mercedes Martinez is having a few words with Shao Kahn, she basically wants a piece of her and all that. She's a little bit too distracted. Xia Li comes from behind, attacks Martinez, brings the action back into the ring and everything, does this spinning kick that just freaking connects to Mercedes' head. And Mercedes just went down like a freaking ton of bricks. Like a freaking ton of bricks. And mad shout out to that referee, because as soon as Mercedes went down to the canvas, the referee is pretty much already there watching feverishly. She is watching, looking for that sign of life. This match definitely was supposed to continue for a couple of more minutes, but it kind of looks like what was supposed to happen once that kick to the head went down for Martinez. Xia Li goes in for the cover. Mercedes was definitely supposed to do a nice, good, strong kick out at 2. But Mercedes really does not do that kick out. Mercedes barely just, when you wake up in the middle of the night maybe, and and you're thirsty, and you kind of go, some people do that, they with their hands, like, it's kind of one of those type of deals. There's like, yeah, the lights are on, but no one's home. Your mind is not your own. Your heart sweats. Your teeth are grinding. Oh, God. I don't know. What do you expect? The 80s guy. What do you expect? But anyway, so at that point, the referee pretty much had no choice but to throw up the X. And you just knew something was going on because the cameras cut right to Xia Li and her little henchmen and all that. Because it was wasn't it it was a tag match. Yeah, it was a tag match. Now that I'm thinking about it, it was an intergender tag match. Now that I'm thinking about it, it was. Give me a second here. Now this one, I will actually look at my notes here, so I can get all the names down here. Because otherwise, I've actually been doing pretty good so far for a guy that normally doesn't rely on notes here. Jake Atlas, Mercedes Martinez taking on Boa and Xia Li. Shout out to you too, by the way, if you caught that whole LGBTQ tag team love right there. So I thought that was a nice little touch that WWE did and everything. Nice little touch that they did. But it's kind of interesting too, because that's something else we got to talk about a little bit later, because crazy shit that's been going on in the news. It will kind of put it in a nice, pretty little package with the whole Bill Cosby thing. But yeah, that spot, man, that was just oof, because they cut right to Boa and Xia Li after that spot, and you just knew something was up. So fans were in a frenzy. A lot of people were throwing Xia Li under the bus, bringing up some of the other people that she's injured and everything. And look, not for nothing, but shit. And fans were really jumping on the ass of Xia Li when they saw that post that Xia Li had put out on social media, basically while still in character or whatever, kind of taking some jabs there at Mercedes, and people just thought that was so tasteless and blah this, and you're like, nah. They're not just gonna do that just for the hell of it. You're only gonna do a move like that when you know that, okay, she's all right, Mercedes is all right. And not for nothing, but Jake Atlas, he did put a little message out there, pretty much giving Mercedes Martinez a lot of mad props, a lot of mad props. And look, when it's all said and done, she was taken to the hospital afterwards. They ran some tests on her and everything apparently, and she was able to get out later that same night. By all the reports that's coming in, she was able to check right back out and everything. So that's good. That's good. You hear that, you're going, that's good. Jake Atlas put out a little tweet though, picture of himself and Mercedes saying, a true badass. This ain't over yet. Payback is a bitch. So look, Mercedes Martinez, it's one tough as, excuse me Martinez, but tough ass bitch. She is tough. That's one tough ass cookie, man. Been watching her for some years now. She's absolutely one of my favorites. She is tough as nails. Accidents happen, guys. Accidents can and they will happen. Even to the most decorated veterans that's out there. I still remember that period of time, and it was right before AJ Styles had came to the WWE. I remember when AJ Styles was on the Independents, and there was a handful of opponents that were not tucking in their heads properly when it came to doing the Styles Clash. Y'all remember that? When it came to doing the Styles Clash, and you had people that were ranting and raving, and they were calling for the move to be banned. They were calling for the move. AJ, don't do it anymore. They were throwing AJ Styles under the bus and everything. Y'all remember that? And I remember talking about that on the show. As a matter of fact, if you play around on YouTube, I don't know what keywords you could do. Maybe you could say RCWR show, AJ Styles, which is what I'm doing right now. And maybe it'll come up that way. So right now I'm seeing the RF video, AJ Styles interview that he did, the shoot interview review. Let's see, what else? Yes, and then you got the AJ Styles botched Styles clash, 2 injuries. Should he retire it? You guys want to hear some retro RCWR show audio? Wow, this is from 7 years ago. Let's load this up. I'm very curious where my mindset was at this particular time. 7 years ago, I would like to believe. So we're winding it back to 2014. Okay. Man, so I would have been 33. And I was somewhat still in my, oh my God, Lee said what phase? I wasn't going for the whole shock jock type of thing, but I was kind of, so I'm a little bit curious where my head is 7 years ago. It's kind of nice hearing some of this retro audio. This is about 6 minutes, but I'm not going to let the entire audio play. Let's just listen just enough to hear the main point. But again, I remember when that whole Styles Clash shit had went down, and just the microscope that AJ Styles was being put under for that move, and people were just left and right, and as far as I can remember, because I'm a big AJ Styles fan, as far as I remember, I'd be shocked if I was upset at the couple of people that were being injured by this Styles Clash, because for me, I think it's always about the technique. Okay, AJ's doing his part. You got to make sure you're doing your part, and you're protecting yourself. You're protecting that head and everything. But also at the same time, you definitely need to factor in weight, because that's some serious upper body arm strength that you got to be having when you're holding somebody essentially that's upside down. They're doing their best to hold on to the back of your legs and everything, and that's a lot of trust and everything. So that upper body strength is what's most important. You feel where I'm coming from? My whole mentality, and I have been like this for a couple of years now, accidents can and will happen. Where I start to raise an eyebrow and go is when it's happening more than once, when it is a ongoing reoccurrence, and it's happening more frequently. Than it would be no different than, let's say hypothetically speaking, you work at a store, you work as a cashier. Okay, you know what, everybody has an off day. Your drawer is short by $10. Otherwise, 365 days out of the year, you are flawless. But that one occurrence, you're short by $10. Okay, shit happens. But what happens if every single shift you're working $5 here, $10 there, $20 here, $2 here? You get the point that I'm making? Like sooner or later you got wait a minute. Okay, what's really going on here? Because we got a regular occurrence here, so you need to be retrained. What exactly is going on here? Let's just listen to a couple of minutes of this clip, because I'm very, very curious where my head is at during this time. Let's see here. Very curious. AJ Styles. What the hell is going on with AJ Styles almost breaking people's necks? I mean, okay, so I heard what happened with, I think, Adrian Lionheart, and if I messed that name up, I humbly apologize in advance. Wow, man. Wow. I got like more bass in my voice now. I sound more seasoned. I sound a little bit more older there. God damn, man. Just to hear the youngness in that voice, man. Damn, that's wow. It sound like two completely different people there. All right, cool. All right, let's keep going. I try to get my fix and know everything that's going on, but I definitely know the guy's name is Lionheart. So basically, there was like a botched spot that was going on. I guess Lionheart didn't tuck his neck in or whatever, and basically this guy could have like got paralyzed. So you're kind of like, okay, but then you got to rewind it back like a couple of weeks before that. AJ Styles, same thing, Styles clash once again. This time, Roderick Strong, and Roderick Strong actually had to sit out and miss a pay-per-view event, and he was pretty much packing ice on his neck for a few weeks. I believe he's good to go now, but, you know, it's like less than a month, you hear two people that have not been able to take the Styles Clash right. I can't help but say to myself, okay, well, is AJ really preparing them for this maneuver? Is he really instructing them what all they need to do and everything? Or is this a case right here where maybe, just maybe, and there's no disrespect to AJ Styles, but is it possible that maybe AJ Styles is packing just a little bit too much weight? Because let's be for real, and I'm not saying AJ Styles is fat, so let me just clear that up. He's not fat. He's thick. I mean, when you look at him, you can see his ribs, you can see a six pack and everything. I mean, he's bulked up quite a bit in like the last 2 years. So for me, I can't help but kind of wonder if it's the extra weight, body mass that he has on him now that's possibly putting these guys at risk. Because if it was the AJ Styles from like 3 years ago, honestly, I think these guys would be able to take the Styles Clash without any problems. What you guys take? I got to jump in right here. So to set this up properly, just kind of give you guys a little bit of a better timeline, because this was definitely before he came to the WWE. Around this time period is when AJ Styles started letting the hair grow out. He started letting the beard come out and everything. I believe at this point he had just like maybe some months or whatever removed from working with Impact Wrestling, as they couldn't agree to a new deal and all that. So he was doing his thing on the independents. This might have came right before he went to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, because he looked really fucking good right before he made his exit from Impact. And then for that period of time when he was out there on the independents, yeah, he did pick up a little bit of weight. So let's listen to about maybe 2 more minutes here. On that, do you feel that AJ Styles has picked up just a little bit too much weight? Do you think he needs to shed it off a little bit so that his partners can be a little bit more protected when it comes to taking the Styles Clash? Or do you guys think AJ Styles should remove the Styles Clash altogether? Now, I know some of you may be quick to say, no, Lee, this is a move that he needs to continue to keep because this is part of his move set. This is his signature move. This is what's been having him connect with the fans over the years. This is what's been registering in their minds when they think about AJ Styles, and I can definitely understand and appreciate that argument. But heaven forbid we have another scenario come about where the next opponent that AJ Styles faces, and it comes time for them to take that Styles Clash finisher, whether they're tucking their head, their neck in right, and all that other stuff. Anything weird can happen. I personally would hate for a scenario to come about where that next opponent ends up paralyzed from the head on down in a wheelchair, bedridden and all that, and it's almost like a scenario played out like what had went down with Draws in the WWF there. I just don't want for there to be another situation like that to occur. I think for a lot of wrestling promotions, they have done a phenomenal job of banning certain moves. I know when you look at the WWE, when you look at TNA, when you just look at a lot of wrestling promotions, one of the like top 3 moves that they do not do altogether is the pile driver. Although I know from time to time when it comes to WrestleMania, Undertaker, he'll do it, but Undertaker has just built that reputation over all these years, and we're talking decades. He's like one of the safest people to work with when it comes to taking that pile driver. Kane is also another one. I know there's certain moves that are banned, like for many wrestling promotions, and I don't know, man, but seeing what's going on with those two people I just mentioned earlier, that when it's all said and done, they might have been able to walk out of that match from taking the Styles Clash wrong. The next person might not be so lucky. So, if I'm talking to AJ Styles right now, and hopefully fans of AJ Styles, or maybe the man himself, will listen to this, hopefully he'll actually take a step back and really analyze whether or not this move that he keeps doing is something that he should continue to do, since he's now in his late 30s and he's packing on a little bit more body mass. Maybe it's time for him to go with something that's a little bit more safer. And honestly, I think fans would be perfectly fine with him switching up his move set and going with a different finisher, because when it's all said and done, they're really just coming to see him, the opponent that he's taking on, and all that. They just want to see a real. So we got the gist of it. Okay, there's about 2 minutes left, but we got the gist of it, right? Okay. And I see some of the comments that were left about this. One person saying Styles Clash shouldn't have been banned. Another person, AJ doesn't botch the move, the person taking it does. Roderick did it intentionally to make it look more devastating, and the other guy was green and chickened out of flipping back into the bump. It's not a hard move to take. AJ said you can literally do nothing and be safe. It's not his fault. The guy tucked his head. Another commenter said, this is the second neck that's been broken by the Styles Clash, though, isn't it? The first was a few years back, and the guy is now in a wheelchair. Actually, I'm mistaken. This is the first time. All right. The move looks crap, and it confuses people with with tucking your head back, cause causing injury when they naturally think of doing it. He needs a new move. I'll read one more. Ouch. If it happened once, I'd say horrible accident, but twice sets off the alarm bells. And, not for nothing, but when he finally did come to the WWE, not for nothing, but there was a period there where we didn't see the Styles Clash for a hot minute. You guys remember that? So, accidents, so that was kind of, wow, that was nice. It's just retro, hearing Retro Lee there from, looks like this was from 2014, so 7 years ago. That audio was. Man, I sound like now I've been having my share of some cigarettes and booze and some other good shit. Some other good shit, man. But that was nice walking down memory lane. If you ask me where I am now, my mindset now compared to what you just heard there from 7 years ago, now I pretty much say, look, accidents can and will happen. But to echo what I said a couple of minutes ago, when it starts to become a reoccurrence and it's happening frequently, that's when you gotta pump the brakes a little bit and you gotta go, okay, yeah, you know what? Maybe we should try something else there. So I understand people's concerns and the frustration and all that to a degree with Xia Li and all, but it was just a freak accident when it's all said and done. That's honestly how you chalk it up, Yeah. But I'm happy that Mercedes Martinez is 100% solid. Another good joint that was pretty on point for NXT was the sit down between Timothy Thatcher, Tommaso Ciampa, MSK. I love that. I love that. Pretty much talking about their tag match that's going to be coming up. I see what's going on with the reactions to MSK. The fans kind of not really. Me personally, look, if anybody can make them, I'm just going to be moving the laptop a tiny little bit here, so I don't want you guys freaking out like, what's going on here? Those of you that's watching the web stream. But actually, let me do this, because I'm starting to get a little hot and I got the air on. Let me actually shut this door so I can let a lot more air cool in here. Come here. There we go. It's because it's going to get nice and frosty real quick now that I've done that. Okay. But, yeah, that sit down. Look, I know MSK is rubbing fans the wrong way. They're just not clicking with the WWE. If anybody can essentially help put them on that next level, definitely Thatcher and Ciampa can do that. Yet at the same time, 2 cents from a distance, I just personally feel at this point, look, shout out to Triple H and them for what they've been able to do with MSK thus far. Major shout out to them. I've been high on them since their days at Impact and all, but it kind of feels to me as though maybe the direction that needs to happen with MSK is maybe they kind of go the heel route. And I really would not be that surprised if ultimately that's what were to happen. So, if you were to ask me straight up, okay, so in regards to next week, do you see MSK losing those tag titles? I don't think so. I think if anything, they will definitely lose them at the next takeover to Timothy Thatcher, Tommaso Ciampa, if this feud were to continue. But I'm definitely concerned about the lackluster reactions that they've been getting there at the CWC arena, because that's a good snapshot. That tells you all you need to know as far as, okay, what can we expect going out there on the road? Now, granted, see, this is a real telling tale, because remember we had that period of time there where NXT just regularly was just, okay, we're right here. We're right here. And then essentially we kind of got that same thing again with the pandemic and all, because NXT stopped being in different cities and all that. So now that we've gotten a really good snapshot from paying fans and all that, that's been coming to these NXT shows and all, I think we have a really good idea of what to expect for MSK in the future. And it's off to a little bit of a shaky start, but I mean, Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher can definitely help these guys get to that next level, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. I feel you got to do a 180 on MSK, and you're going to have to go the heel route with them. And not for nothing, but they definitely display some pretty decent heel-like tendencies, I personally feel. By the way, quick sidebar, I love when I'm trying to figure out who hit who. I think it was, I can't remember which guy from MSK had hit. Was it Zachary? I think it was Zachary. But I love how dude had hit Tommaso Ciampa, and Tommaso Ciampa pretty much had said to him, next week you bring your pride, you bring those titles, because both of those we're going to be taking. And what you just did just now, enjoy for what it was worth, because that's the only free shot that you're ever going to get. And then he followed it up by kissing Zachary on the cheek. I lost my shit. I said, man, that's a nice way of telling somebody you gonna make them your bitch. Like, seriously, that should be a really good tag matchup that's gonna be going down next week. Looking forward to that one. The team of Zoe Stark, Io Shirai, winning the what was it? I think it was a fatal 4-way, was it not? I'll go over the names in a hot second, but won a fatal 4-way there, tag match, to become the number one contenders to face the team of the Ways, Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae for those NXT women's tag titles. Look, it's nice to see that, fans are starting to warm up there to Zoe Stark. Y'all finally starting to see what I've been saying about her and all that. Very talented and all. I don't feel, though, that Zoe Stark and Io Shirai are going to become the new NXT tag champions. I'm just not seeing that happen. I still feel in my heart of hearts that there's going to be a breaking point. There's going to be a breaking point between Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. For me, Zoe Stark is just too damn freaking humbled and in storyline, she's just too damn humble and trying to do her best to get along with everybody. You feel where I'm coming from? And I just kind of feel as though somebody is going to snap on the other person. The only question is who is going to snap on who? And I kind of feel as though, maybe the way to go is Zoe Stark actually turning on Io Shirai. So I mean, WWE is in a really good position here where they can go a couple of different routes here with Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. Do you maybe want to go with Io as the heel and let Zoe chase after her? You need more crowd reactions. You definitely need to see what's going on with that social media engagement and try to really figure out that finger on the pulse for the fans and all when it comes to reactions to Zoe Stark, because I think that's really going to be the determining factor. But betting, man, seldom I bet, but I'm going to say Zoe Stark turns on Io Shirai. Whether or not that pretty much happens immediately after this tag match for the titles, that kind of remains to be seen. Now, look, when I say that, I'm not saying instantly now. You got to do a nice, slow, gradual burn. You got to do it that way. So, of course, I'm kind of looking at things maybe almost 3 months down the road is maybe when you do something along those lines. Good match between all four of those girls too, by the way. It's actually a pretty good matchup. I definitely, at this point, I got to see what's going on. I got to see what's going on with the rest of this NXT card here. So I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Again, top of my head, this is how I'm rolling tonight, just off the top of my head. I'm trying to think about, oh man, I can't believe I almost forgot about that. How can I forget about the main event match of the night for NXT, by the way, which was the North American Championship that was up for grabs as Isaiah Scott Swerve faced Bronson Reed for that title. And we got a new NXT North American champion and Isaiah Swerve Scott. By all accounts, it kind of appears as though Bronson Reed has been promoted to the Raw SmackDown brand. So I don't know which show he's ultimately going to be on, but the rumblings that's coming about right now is, he's getting the call up. So, I mean, when you have a unique look like Bronson Reed and he's got that whole big man mentality and all that, you definitely, you got to represent. I mean, look, we ain't got no Keith Lee right now. We ain't got, and Lord only knows what's going on with Keith Lee, seriously, but there's no Keith Lee right now. We don't have, there was somebody else that we no longer have Braun Strowman. There was our other big guy. We no longer got him. Damian Priest is coming along and everything, but that's still basically a work in progress. So, yeah, as far as that big man star power, larger than life characters, WWE on those main two flagship shows, they're lacking in that department. So Bronson Reed, essentially, yeah, I'm totally cool with that. Where I feel he would thrive the most, though, would definitely be on SmackDown. I'm just not. I feel as though on Raw really wouldn't be given an opportunity to truly shine. I personally feel so. Hopefully, he's going to be going to the SmackDown brand. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. And I mean, Isaiah Scott Swerve has just continued to be money with Hit Row. I'm loving everything with Hit Row. AJ Francis, especially. Nice, sweet-ass spot there where Bronson Reed had sent AJ Francis crashing into the glass barrier, and he's going all that. Nice spot. That was a nice freaking spot. That was a damn good matchup, man. I love that matchup, man. That was a really, that was a really good main event match of the night. Seeing the photo afterwards of Triple H posing with Hit Row, that was just so funny. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you guys mess with go-go bands, but here in the DC metropolitan area, we got a band, a go-go band called Rare Essence. And man, they make some of the funkiest fucking go-go music out there, man. And you know, you trying to have yourself a nice, good bomb-ass cookout, you know, good drinks on, hanging out with fams and friendly fans. I'd say fans, family and friends is what I was trying to say. Man, you put on some of that good Rare Essence, put on some of that good go from them. Oh man, watch everybody start breaking out the dancing and all that. And there's always that one person, and Triple H kind of comes off like that one person. Yeah, I know a thing or two about this. Yeah, I'm down with this. Yeah. You know, Triple H is that one guy that you can always count on. That, come on, man, you know damn well you don't know anything about this. Come on, stop faking. But that was a really nice, cool picture. That was a nice, cool picture of Triple H sharing that little moment there with Hit Row. But man, Hit Row has been freaking money, man. They have been freaking money. Loving what they've been doing these past several weeks. Good ass match. I don't think there's by the way, that tag match I was talking about earlier for the number one contenders, it was Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez taking on Amber Moon, Shotzi Blackheart, Io Shirai, Zoe Starks. It was a triple threat. It was a triple threat. And again, the team of Io Shirai, Zoe Stark going over. You know, I do want to show an honorable mention. I kind of glanced over it, but that match Cameron Grimes had against that guy from 205 Live, he was pretty good. He was pretty good, and we kind of saw a little teaser of him from what was it? Was it last week or 2 weeks ago when he had that backstage segment and he was taking verbal shots at Cameron Grimes? I'm trying to think. Ari Sterling. That was the guy. That's the guy I'm thinking of. Ari Sterling. Yeah, he was pretty good. Roderick Strong was also in action. Pretty much a no-brainer. Pretty much a squash match against Asher Hale. Really not much there, but pretty solid NXT for this week. I would have to say pretty solid NXT. Really. Beside those matches that I had talked about, you know, this was really. Oh yeah, the battery. Don't even get me started on that battery. Maybe it's Finn Balor. I'm more and more convinced that maybe it's Finn Balor that's behind this whole battery thing. You know, we'll have to wait and see. But pretty decent NXT that we got for this week, without a doubt. And the way things are looking for next week's card, let me see if I can give you guys a update for next week's card here. Because next week is going to be the Great American Bash here. So hang on a second here. Yeah, I got some of the matches for you guys here right now. So right now we've got LA Knight defending the $1 Million Championship against Cameron Grimes. I already told you the stipulations on that one. We got the NXT tag team titles on the line. Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher taking on the champions in MSK. NXT women's tag team title match. Io Shirai, Zoe Stark taking on Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae. Yeah, you got Adam Cole taking on Kylie O'Reilly. So probably going to be maybe a couple of more matches that's going to be announced. You know, we'll wait and see how that plays out. Now, let's go ahead. Let's talk ratings. I'm going to say for this week, for this past week, I'm going to say NXT maybe 617,000. I'm going to say 617,000 for the viewers for this week. Let's see what the official number is. So at this point, all I got to do is just go into the notes here. Let me see here. Open up my email. Let me see here. Hang on a second, guys. So I got to open up my email here. 1 minute I thought I had it, but then the next minute I'm gonna say, hang on here. All right. So what did I say? 617,000? 617,000. All right. So let's see what the official number is here. All right. I said 617,000. All right. All right. Survey says. Oh, wow. Wow. I was pretty close. Shout out to the good, kind people over there at WrestleNomics. They're reporting that NXT on Tuesday drew 636,000. Lowest amount the show has pulled since the March 17th episode, which had 594,000. The rating was also down to a 0.13, the lowest rating since May 25th. Rating and viewerships are down 23.5% and 4.4% compared to last week, which drew a 0.17 in the key age demos of 18 to 49 and that 665,000 viewership. So it was pretty close there. I said 617. So okay, not too shabby. All right, pretty good. All right, so we're gonna talk AEW in just a hot minute for you guys. And yes, I do want to sound off about good old JR, as he called it, WWE Dynamite. I'll definitely sound off about that, man. Way to give Matthew Abachamania some free fucking content. I tell you what, he's going to have a fucking field day with that. Hey, if you guys been enjoying the show so far, and I know you have been because you made it up to this point, do me a huge favor because it is free and it helps me out tremendously. Make sure you hit that like button. When you do that, really does a phenomenal job in pushing out our content more to other members of the YouTube community to be able to discover with more ease. Do that. Appreciate that in advance. Really helps out with that YouTube algorithm, man. I see you guys have been doing your part. You've been representing. Please just continue to keep at it. Consistency. That's the key. Keep at it. You keep doing that. Definitely going to do my best to keep bringing you all the solid action. AEW for this week. Pretty good. You know, let me open up by first saying congrats to Cody Rhodes and Brandy on the arrival of their beautiful baby. And look, I don't know how many of you guys are into collecting magazine collectibles or whatever, but this Friday there's going to be a new issue of People magazine that's going to drop, and Brandy Rhodes, Cody, they're on the front cover of it. As a matter of fact, you guys can bear with me, I actually got just some of the image that's going to be covered in that main article spread there you go. So they share with People magazine exclusive photos and talk about the arrival of their baby. Just beautiful. Just a beautiful. What a beautiful couple. What a beautiful little kid. So congrats to them. Also, happy belated birthday to Cody. Cody had a birthday. What was it, the other day or the day before? So yeah, Cody Rhodes having a birthday. Well, so what's Cody now? Cody is what? What is he now? 38, maybe 39 or whatever. 36. He just turned 36. So congrats to it's beautiful. Just beautiful. Seriously. I might actually pick it up just to read about their experience in becoming new parents, for the first time and all that. I may read it just to, hey, I need some tips, man. I need some tips. I know they're kind of still early on and everything, but I'm working on the kids next. Now that I'm married and everything, brother got to work on the kids next. So, I'm gonna represent. I'm definitely gonna check out that magazine over the weekend, and I'll follow up with you guys on some of the stuff that was covered in it. I actually wouldn't be surprised if, besides the newsstand, I actually wouldn't be surprised if you were able to read the article online as well, in case you want to do the digital. You want to go the digital route. So, but once again, congrats. What a great looking couple. Seriously, what a great looking couple. Love is just in the air, and I am loving it. I am loving it. There are just so many people, whether it's wrestling folks or non-wrestling related folks, just the fact that you've got love in the air, marriage in the air, kids in the air. Weren't we just here yeah, we were just here last week giving mad congrats to Jessica Havoc and Sammy Callahan for getting engaged. Just awesome. It's just awesome compared to where we were a year ago with regards to the whole pandemic and people trying to figure out where their next paycheck is going to be coming from, what's going to be the next career path they're going to embark on, who's freaking hiring. There was just so much that was going on with a lot of us, almost 15 months ago. And so, it's beautiful to continue to see good things. Speaking of good things, I know last time I was on the show, we were talking about a bird problem that I was having here in the house. In case you guys had missed it, there was a serious bird problem. We had a couple of birds that was in the fireplace. So they came into the fireplace through the chimney. Now, I still got to get up on the roof and I got to figure out a way to seal off the chimney so that birds can stop falling through it, because my father-in-law last year during the Christmas holiday. That's about right. He actually had came over our place because we had, heard some weird noises. And by the time he came up, that critter had already passed or whatnot. But yeah, we had that issue then, and we couldn't exactly go on the roof because cold weather. And then at some point it had been snowing. So last thing you want to do, you don't want to be, that's an accident waiting to happen. So I was able to take care of that bird problem. For those of you that, that might have been curious, I got to get up on that roof. I tell you what, I got to get up on that damn roof, because that was just, I spent an hour yesterday working up a sweat. I did work up a sweat. I was sweating profusely and how I was going about tackling my bird problem. And I wish that I would have been in a position where I had the money to, hire Terminex or whoever to actually come on out and take care of the problem. But that costs a couple of $100. And then just no telling if the Humane Society would have actually done something, for free, for that matter. So, to be in that position where you got to basically do it yourself and just pray that you don't get poked to death by the birds. It can be a freaky, trust me, of all the movies that I've like over the years, I don't really watch that kind of makes me uncomfortable. I would have to say Alfred Hitchcock's Birds. That's probably the one movie that I have no thanks. That's the one movie I refuse to watch because I don't like birds. I don't like birds. I don't know what it is. Like for some weird reason, parrots I'm cool with. I'm okay with parrots. Talking birds and I'm okay with them. Parakeet, I'm okay with that. But for some reason, just regular pigeons, crows, stay the fuck away from me. I don't know what it is, man. Seriously, I don't know what it is. But anyway, we're talking AEW. You know what? Good main event match between Sammy Guevara and MJF. I had a little bit of an issue with the match early on, though. So maybe almost the first half, give or take, of the match I had issue with. I didn't like the fact that they kept countering each other and it was a fucking stalemate each time. I didn't like that. And I'll tell you the main reason why I didn't like that level of psychology. Yeah, we know what Sammy Guevara is capable of and everything. But here's the thing. just because we know what Sammy Guevara is all about doesn't mean that, oh, well, we got to make sure that MJF is on that same level as well. When really the psychology that should have been laid out early on was MJF essentially playing a little bit hard to get for Sammy Guevara. He should have been working that fucking crowd, you know, really putting that fucking trolling like a motherfucker. Go fucking classic Ric Flair. Tease them fucking fans. Tease fucking Sammy Guevara. Just when you think there's about to be a lockup or whatever, Sammy is just salivating. MJF just makes Sammy chase you around the ring. I was expecting for that type of psychology to go down, and it didn't play out like that. That was probably my one caveat. And I'm not over analyzing. I didn't overthink this in any type of way. I'm literally just in real time as I'm watching this. It was a good match, don't get me wrong. But and I'm only talking from the standpoint of the way the MJF character overall has been presented to us in AEW. That's strictly how I'm looking at it. So it just seemed a little bit conflicting to get the type of MJF that we had got that showed up and everything, especially now that he's at this stage with the whole Pinnacle and all that. Match went exactly how I thought it was going to go down, as far as Pinnacle coming out, causing some type of interference and all that. This is the thing that I didn't understand, though. And again, you know, not to be a stickler for detail, but this is the other thing that I didn't understand about this matchup, which was, so Shawn Spears comes out. Jericho, great job on commentary, by the way. As much as I would like to get his new book, 30 Years of Jericho, as much as I would like to get that, the guy's not done wrestling yet. So there's probably at some point going to be a 2.0 version of this book, because it's happened. I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but there has been times, many times over the years, where a book comes out and you're like, oh man. But then some years go by, maybe something of a huge development had went down. And as a result of that, there's now a new epilogue, or there's a new chapter or whatever. It's happened before. So, you know, it's great that you got this first 30 Years of Jericho book that's out, but it's okay. Do you really want to, you know, it reminds me so much of the Brock Lesnar DVD, the Brock Lesnar Here Comes the Pain DVD. I remember, and I have both versions. I have the original and I have the new re-edited, remastered version, remix version that they had put out. And the very first version, you know, this guy, Brock Lesnar, has barely scratched the surface of his wrestling career. But hey, they made this DVD and it's like, okay, all right, cool, whatever, man. And I'm heavy, super freaking Brock Lesnar fan at that point. I mean, still a Brock Lesnar fan as we speak, but I was mega Brock Lesnar fan back then. And then remember, once Brock Lesnar came back to the WWE, they re-released that DVD, but they included basically a new epilogue. They covered when he left and came back, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. So, you know, I think I will probably still end up getting the DVD, the book, the Chris Jericho book, because I have all his other books. I mean, phenomenal read. I just don't know if I'm going to get a physical or if I'm going to get a digital. I kind of feel like maybe at this point I'll probably get a digital. So we'll see. Actually, you know what? No, my iPad is still down, actually. Yeah, my iPad is still down. I got to hang in there because at this point, I'm probably not going to be getting a new iPad, or maybe a Surface is probably what I'm going to go for. I'm probably not going to be getting it until maybe about September. So like right before I get ready to do fall semester classes. So yeah, I actually might go on ahead this go round and get the physical copy. But yeah, Shawn Spears comes out. Jericho sees what's going on. He tries to come after Shawn Spears, but he gets jumped from Wardlow Wardlow's beating the crap out of him. Now, remember what I said about, hey, here's another issue that I have. You know, I hate to be a stickler for detail, but all right. So Wardlow's doing his thing to Jericho, and he's yelling at the referee. You know, it's literally, look, ref, look. And the referee is focusing on him when the ref should be focusing on what's happening inside the ring. So the ref spent all this time looking at what Wardlow was doing to Jericho. Basically, Wardlow beating up Jericho, tosses him from that top section of where the fans were, tosses him. Jericho comes crashing down hard on the canvas. So the referee is trying to check on Jericho, and this pretty much sets up Shawn Spears to come in with a cheap attack on Guevara. Boom, MJF pretty much picking up the dub. Now, you see all this that plays out, and you're wondering to yourself, well, hell, where the hell is Fear the Revolution? Where the hell is Proud Power Up? God damn it. Pride and Power, Glory, whatever fuck their name is, Santana and Ortiz. It's like, where are these guys? We saw a little clip of them earlier in the night because they were putting over the fight they're going to be having with FTR next week and everything. But okay, I guess none of those guys were in the house this week when it counted the most. So just weird booking right there. Very, very weird booking right there. It would have made all the sense in the world to have the members of the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle all on each other, kind of balancing each other out. But you understand what I'm saying? Even if you were to still go with that finish that I was talking about, you still want to go with that finish, that's cool, but at least recognize, because what we've been seeing with Inner Circle and Pinnacle these past several weeks, it's almost been a game of chess to a certain degree. So very, very odd. Very odd what was going on there. Very, very odd. Give me one quick second here. There we go. Just closing a couple of programs because I'm checking out the stream health quality, and I kind of got an alert just now. I'll see. So, good match, though, between Guevara and MJF, despite some of those. I might just be a stickler for detail, but a good match despite some of those areas I was talking about. Also, major congrats. Major congrats to Jungle Boy. I had no idea that Jungle Boy accumulated the most wins so far in AEW as far as singles competition. Yeah, I think it's like singles competition or whatever. I mean, 50 wins. He was at 49, but he had to get the 50th in his match tonight. And I mean, you just pretty much knew that was going to be a foregone conclusion that he was going to get match victory 50. You just knew he was. But to hear, wow, 50. I mean, that's awesome. That is freaking awesome. It just goes to show you, even though you may be seeing some stuff between Dark and Elevation and Dynamite, you think that it kind of seems like they really aren't making the investment in. Nah, man, you really go out of your way and make sure you're staying on top of those power rankings. Looks can be deceiving. Looks can definitely be deceiving. So, you know, very nice to hear. Very nice to hear that he got number 50 there. And by the way, I cannot sing enough praises for that main event match he had with Kenny Omega for the championship. Just fucking awesome. That was fucking awesome. Look, I like the fact that Christian continues to be a mentor of some type to Jungle Boy. And as a result of that, you now have Marco Stunt. You have Luchasaurus. They're opening up to Christian. They're taking somewhat of a warm liking to him now. So it's nice to see that development going on there. It's very, very interesting what's currently going on with Christian there, because he's came to AEW and his whole thing is outwork everyone or outperform everyone, whatever his little catchphrase is. And now it just feels as though Christian is just falling into the background, just joining in the line, in the ranks, and just, he kind of feels not quite, this isn't quite like the Christian that we got that first came to TNA with that serious chip on his shoulders, and we saw how that pretty much, right? This doesn't feel like that, so I can't help but wonder, hey AEW, we got some plans on the horizon here for Christian? Do we really? Or we just figuring it out as we're going along here? Because, look, not for nothing, granted, a lot of real estate. There's a lot of real estate in AEW right now. A lot of those top marquee spots, it's all being taken up right now. So, but you would just like to believe that Christian's trajectory in AEW would be much higher than where it is right now. So just looking into the crystal ball, you definitely got a golden opportunity there if you ultimately wanted to turn Christian heel, and when it counts the most. Because like me personally, I'm waiting for that Christian to surface that has that significant chip on his shoulders and really is just disgusted at the fact that a guy like Jungle Boy was pretty much able to get the championship opportunity and pretty much, when you're cutting a heel-like promo, you just squandered it. You really didn't take true advantage. You didn't, I tried to show you the ropes. I tried to, and you failed miserably. I could almost kind of see something like that playing out to a certain degree. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that pans out. Look, everybody was talking about how when AEW went off, and I listened to it. I did have a nice little hearty chuckle. JR saying WWE Dynamite. Look, can we give JR props? Almost immediately after they went off the air, he went on social media and he owned that shit. He owned it. I can't give this guy any fucking shade. I'm not going to give him any shade. I'm not going to shit on him in any type of way. Because good old JR, Jim Ross, this guy, and I'm not giving him a cop-out. I'm not giving him a pass. The guy is 69 years old. Health problems wise, I'm not even thinking about what happened with his wife. Most unfortunate. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm not even having that be a factor, and I'm not even going there. Not even touching that. But just the health problems that the man has had over the decades. The long number of years he's been entertaining us. Even the best, once in a while, even the best have an off night, have a brain fart. It fucking happens. Especially when you've spent so much time with one particular promotion. You feel where I'm coming from now? And granted, some people may say, yeah, but how can you get three initials, 3 letters of a promotion? How could you get that mixed up with the other guys? How can you fucking go that route? You got the banners all over the place. You got the paperwork. How can you? It happens. It freaking happens. It happens to the best of folks. It really, really does. I laughed. It happens. It happens. You try being in a position where every single week you got to make sure that besides calling the action, following the storylines, going over the bullet points that you got to be going over, also making sure that you're keeping a keen ear to the producers that's in your ear, letting you know, okay, we're getting ready to come up on this spot right here. Hey, don't forget, we got to put heavy emphasis on, okay, guys, we got about T-minus 90 seconds before we get ready to go into the commercial break, beginning to count you down. Yeah. And let's see if you can remain calm, cool, collected, and don't have any type of fuck-ups whatsoever. Lord knows, even as a podcaster, and many other podcasters will definitely agree with me on this, especially veteran podcasters. You know, hey, we could have nice and laid out some of the stuff that we want to cover on the shows, that's got you talking and want to pick the brains of the hosts and all that. And sometimes there'll be some fuck ups. Sometimes there will be some things that will be said, and it's like, wait, did that actually happen? Did that actually come out? Like, all you can do is just, like with any job, when you make a mistake, you dust yourself off, you learn from it. All right, moving right along. So, but I appreciate him manning up. He manned up, realized he made a mistake, and it is what it is. I mean, it don't get no prompt than less than a half hour after you've gone off the air, and you realize, oh shit, I said, how this is even news is beyond me, quite honestly. And we spent enough time talking about that, but yeah, it is what it is with that. Besides that, what was some other stuff with Sting had the easiest job this week, didn't he? All he had to do was just bring out a casket with Darby Allin, as Darby Allin brought the action to Ethan Page, who cut a phenomenal promo. I mean, he's got them fans eating out the palm of his hands. I am fucking loving what Ethan Page is doing right now. Ethan Page is shining oh so bright right now in AEW. So far, it's paying big dividends. So far, it is coming off to be the smartest move that Ethan Page has done for his career thus far. And I'm really excited to see him have this second lease on a wrestling career in AEW. I mean, I expected big things. I won't lie to you guys. I expected for big things to happen for him in Impact Wrestling, right down to the point I expected him somewhere down the line to become a Impact World Champion. I loved what he was doing in the North with Josh Alexander. I loved what those guys were doing and all, but it's damn sad how Impact did not properly utilize the guy, quite honestly. Even as he's making his way out the door, just the way that they fucking did my dude, that was just wrong on so many levels. So I'm liking what he is doing in AEW right now. He's doing a phenomenal piece of work, and him and Darby Allin, that should be a damn good matchup. It's going to be a coffin match. Yeah, fucking A, sign me up for that. But by the way, I like how Scorpio Sky was so focused on helping out his boy Page against Darby Allin. Scorpio Sky takes his eyes off Sting, who just gingerly, no care in the world. Sting walked down that ramp, walked up them steps, got into that ring as if, honey, I'm gonna go get the paper. I think I might grab a latte while I'm out too. You need anything? No, you good? Okay. All right, I'll be back. I mean, he was oh so ginger. Just the way he casually and then just comes out from behind, Scorpion Death Drop to Scorpio Sky. I mean, that was just hilarious. Seriously, you got to go back. If you didn't watch Dynamite, go back and peep that out. That was pretty freaking hilarious. Miro was in action against Brian Pillman Jr. That, for me, I would have to make that be the match of the night. I thoroughly had enjoyed that one, even though it was a losing effort too for Brian Pillman Jr. That actually was a pretty damn good matchup, and that was for the TNT championship, by the way. So looked pretty damn good. Miro continuing to impress me every single week. Loving my man Miro. See, Bucks with a rare defeat on TV. Step in the right direction. That's good, as they lost to Pentacero Miedo and Eddie Kingston. Good shit right there. Look, Young Bucks. What can I say about the Young Bucks? Whoopie fucking do. They got handlebar mustaches or the George Michael stash. Whatever. Who cares? Who cares? They got facial hair. Big fucking deal. It happens. Look, I give Young Bucks a lot of fucking credit. From a marketing standpoint, they realize that there is a core of the fan base that can't stand them, and they will get on them for every single little thing that they do, and they will scrutinize it. They realize that, and they are using that to their advantage, and I give them mad fucking props. Got to give it up to Tony Schiavone, though. Tony Schiavone, when the Bucks first came out, he said that they look like male porn stars or strippers or whatever. Lost it when he said that. I thought that was pretty fucking funny. But yeah, I mean, you've seen what's been going on with them as of late. Everything that they've been doing as of late, it is from a loud, obnoxious, very flashy, yeah, they're doing it. They're using it to their advantage, and it pretty much has people talking. So yeah, very smart, very smart. If that was you or me in that same position, and we knew that we had our finger on certain fans, yeah, we would definitely exploit that and use it and get that social media engagement and all that for sure. Kenny Omega with his Triple H beard or whatever. Okay, so he's now rocking. Okay, so and what? Whoopie-doo. I might go shave my beard. Not for nothing, I've pushed the Triple H little classic beard before. Like, okay, and it is what it is. It is what it is. So Eddie Kingston, Penta, Cero Miedo, now putting themselves in a really good position here where they could eventually, most likely, be facing the Bucks for the AEW tag titles. Too much offense from the Bucks at the beginning, though, but those final minutes when it counted the most, you can make an argument it did kind of come off a little bit overbooked, but pretty exciting and pretty fun matchup overall. And Jungle Boy defeating Jack Evans, you just knew that was gonna be a freaking automatic. You just knew that. Tony Schiavone interviewing Dark Order. Or actually, no, Kenny Omega. Interviewing Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, as far as he's concerned, he's beaten every single body that's been put in front of him in the AEW so far. That was number one contender, and there's nobody else. He's done. Dark Order comes out, and Evil Uno reminds him, no challengers. Nah, brother, there is somebody. And Omega and him are going back and forth. And without mentioning his name, it turns out Evil Uno was talking about the Hangman, Adam Page. To that, Page says, okay, well, I know he doesn't want to have anything to do with me. I know this guy does not want to fight me. I know this guy didn't make you say that. I know he don't want none of this. I know he does not want to face me for the AEW Heavyweight Championship, because if you're talking about who I think you're talking about, you know what? He can do the speaking for himself. So, just kind of looking at all of that, I loved how essentially intimidated Kenny Omega was just at the idea that Hangman Adam Page could be eyeing a shot for that championship. And he seemed a little bit rattled. He seemed a little bit unconfident, even though he was trying to do his very best to play it off and everything. Notice he didn't even essentially give Dark Order and Hangman Adam Page an opportunity to have Hangman come out to offer some type of a rebuttal, because he pretty much just made his exit, did the whole bang bang, shaboy boy, boom, and all that other good stuff. I like that. I like that whole element that you got going on there because remember, rewinded pretty much a year ago. Hangman Page, Omega, solid ass tag team. Remember, I was right here on this show and I had said, man, do it right. Let these guys be the tag champions for about 6 months. Let them really build up that division and, eventually put over a really good heel up and coming tag team and all that. But, it sadly didn't play up that way. And since Kenny Omega has been the champion, it's so funny. It's so funny because now we've got people within the past couple of weeks. We now have people that are talking about, oh, Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega. I've been calling for Hangman, and not for nothing. When I say I've been calling, I've been bringing it up on the shows repeatedly. I've been throwing that idea out there and talking about what a great full circle type of story, especially if you were to pretty much do it at a all-out pay-per-view or whatever, really bring it back full circle. I've pretty much been talking about this now for at least 7 months. At least 7 months. So to that, it's kind of like, I'm not bashing people, but it's like, where the fuck you guys been? Sorry if you didn't see it beforehand, but, seriously, like, this has pretty much been when you really take a step back and you really break down the history between Omega and Hangman Adam Page and the fact that we're pretty much up to the point of where we are right now. Everything has not been happening as a case of coincidence. It's actually been happening these past several months by design when you really stop and think about it. So, man, I told you guys, I said, mark my words. I told you guys 7 months ago, you can go rewind it back. I told you guys, I said, look, eventually it's going to be Kenny Omega, Hangman Page. Page is going to be the one to take that title away from Omega. And I told you guys, mark my words. That's going to be your next champion. So I like how Dark Order tried to find Hangman Page afterwards. And, he pretty much seemed pretty rattled. He did not like Dark Order going out there and pretty much speaking on his behalf. And they pretty much were able to detect, okay, you're fearing of failing. And, that's part of it. What they were saying, that's part of it. But the other part is that history between Hangman and Omega. So I like this next chapter as far as Omega's championship run. And, I love it. I can't wait to see this continue to play out on TV here. But now that I've said what I've said, you guys can definitely see that, Lee, not for nothing, but yeah, they have been kind of separated there for a good minute now. Yeah, everything is kind of coming full circle yet again. You remember what I had said, almost a year ago about all the great potential that I had saw with Hangman Adam Page and everything when he had faced Jericho for the championship. Go back, rewind it back and check that out. And I told you guys, I said, you know what? Do it properly, set Hangman Page up just right, build it up. A year from now, that guy, that guy could be your next and should be your next AEW champion because the crowds really fucking love Hangman Page. They invest big time in Hangman Adam Page. I'm trying to think what other... lowest point of Dynamite. Vicky Guerrero, Nyla Rose, taking on Britt Baker, DMD, and Reba, not Rebel. Man. First of all, Vicky Guerrero, and even she'll tell you, she's not a wrestler. Not fully trained, boy, that was just rough to watch. Hey, I did like that thickness I was seeing though, man. I mean, Vicky Guerrero got some nice pretty ass legs, man. She got some nice ass thick thighs, man. I was just like, I'm like, so that was nice. But man, that was ooh, that was excruciating to watch. That was. And then to hear that Reba had suffered an injury. So apparently she did something in regards to her kneecap. I can't tell you exactly where the spot is, with that match. I don't know exactly, when it freaking happened, but at some point during this match, maybe it was when she tried to break up the pin. Maybe that's when it had went down, but apparently she dislocated her kneecap during that match, and she's gonna be out for a period of some weeks. But is she really? Is she really gonna be out for several periods of weeks there? Or are we just gonna see her next week? She's just gonna pretty much be in a wheelchair, boot and all. And I mean, all the other times we've seen Reba, she's pretty much been out on crutches and all that other good stuff. So why not? Why not freaking just, right? You can easily work around that, right? So yeah, but that was pretty, just that whole match. That was just pretty rough to watch, man. It was. By the way, if I'm not mistaken, only one women's match on Dynamite for this week. Come on, man. We gotta at least put two. You gotta at least put two matches in there, guaranteed 2 women's matches. Yeah, that for me was just that was heartbreaking, man. That was just heartbreaking. Trying to think if there was anything else noteworthy from Dynamite I had wanted to go over here on the show. Looking now, I'm gonna look at some notes. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. Nothing's kind of. I know Taz had revealed that a fully recovered Ricky Starks is going to be facing Brian Cage for the FTW championship, and he's hoping that with a little tough love, basically Team Taz can get back on track, and any beefs, any disagreements, everything can be squashed with this upcoming match. I believe that's going to be happening next week. You know how Dynamite is sometimes. They'll tell you something that's supposed to be happening 1 week, and then they'll tell you some stuff that's happening 2 weeks down the road, and then 3 weeks down the road. So sometimes it can be a little bit hard to try to figure out, okay, what exactly is going on. I know next week on Dynamite, MJF and Jericho, they're going to be having a standoff. Also, Orange Cassidy, Chris Statlander will team up to take on the Bunny and the Blade. So all that's going to be going down next week. I'm actually looking at the rest of the card, and we pretty much went through everything just now. That was everything. As far as Dynamite goes. That was a nice video package. I will say that was a nice video package that they did at the end there, pretty much recapping everything that happened during the pandemic and how AEW continued to provide entertainment, and just really thanking the fans, those that were able to attend, those continuing to watch and invest in the product, now that they're pretty much getting back out there regularly on live tours and all that. So that was a nice little video package that they did. Not needed. It really wasn't needed, but that was a nice little touch that they did, out of the norm. Also, AEW, they're announcing shows for All Out Week in September. They announced that shows are going to be taking place over All Out Weekend coming up in September. So you got all 3 shows that are going to be taking place in Chicago with AEW Dynamite on September 1st. Then you get AEW Rampage on September 3rd, and then everything culminates in All Out on September 5th. Tickets go on sale July 9th at 11 p.m. You heard me right. Tickets go on sale July 9th at 11 p.m. Surprised it's not 11 a.m. Surprised it's not 11 a.m. I'm going to say it's 11 a.m. because I've never heard of tickets that went on sale while you were sleeping. So I'm telling you guys, 11 a.m., bookmark the shit. So That should be good. That should actually be pretty good. Pretty good joint. I wish I was actually going to that. I really do, but I've got to be prepared for something else that is going to be going down a month prior, and I'm still waiting. And it has to do with Awesome Con. It has to do with Awesome Con. Now let's talk ratings. Let's talk ratings for Dynamite. I am going to say, with the return to its Wednesday time slot, I'm going to say AEW. I said what? 617,000 for NXT, correct? I'm going to say 738,000 for AEW Dynamite for this week. Let's see what we got here. Survey says, damn, I'm a little off. All right, so Wednesday's episode of Dynamite back in its regular time slot. Remember what I said, which was, what was that, 783,000 or whatever? They actually did 883,000 viewers. So this is up from that last, what was it, Saturday? Yeah, they came on Saturday because they were bouncing around there. They did freaking Friday, then they went to Saturday, you know, and then they went, yeah, so they this is up significantly. Because the last episode was 649,000, and that was on a Saturday episode of Dynamite. So that's pretty good. 18 to 49 key demographic, show drew a 0.35 rating, not bad. That's up from the rating, same demo for the June 26th show that drew a 0.21 rating. So I mean, that's pretty good. 883,000 viewers. Congrats, AEW. Congrats. Now let's see if you can maintain that. I think what's really going to be critical is to see, once they officially make the move full time to TBS, if they're going to be able to, you know, maintain that. You know, while we're talking about ratings, WWE Raw for this week, it hit a new 2021 low with their viewership, and woof. So it scored a 0.41 rating in 18 to 49 demo with 1.57 million viewers. That's down 16.3% and 18.7% respectfully compared to last week's 0.49 demo that had a 1.719 million viewers. So by that demo, it pretty much makes it the lowest of 2021 so far. With the last lowest taking place December 14th of last year. So, you know, that kind of, it's interesting because Raw was actually pretty decent for what it was worth. I remember somewhat being pro this past week. I remember being somewhat pro. No, it was actually a decent show for what it was worth. Look, Thunderdome is going to be doing its thing one more time this coming week. So you've got this Friday with SmackDown. That's Thunderdome. You've got Monday. That's going to be Thunderdome as well. And Friday SmackDown. And that pretty much is going to be it. Now, I actually was invited to participate in the WWE Thunderdome for Monday Night Raw. So I will be doing it one more time. I think that's going to be either my fourth or fifth time doing WWE Thunderdome. So I'm actually, I'm going to be doing that. And my call time for Monday is at 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'm definitely going to be representing, because after Monday and Friday, that's it. They're going to be breaking down the Thunderdome set, and they're going to be done with the monitor. So, if you maybe want a cool little piece of a memento from the whole Thunderdome experience, you might be able to find some stuff on eBay, because I could have sworn I saw on social media earlier this week that there was already a couple of WWE Thunderdome LED or LCD monitors that were up for grabs. So if you've been thinking about decking out your man cave for your gaming setup and all, you guys got a bomb ass opportunity now. So look into that when you get a chance. But I'm happy. I'm really happy that WWE is going to be getting out of this whole Thunderdome, and they're going to be getting back into the live crowds, bringing the product to the people again. I'm excited for it, and I'm looking forward to, at a much later date, going to a WWE event, going to an AEW event whenever they bring it, and mingle with the fans. And we're getting there one piece at a time. We're getting there. And yeah, you got these new variants that's floating around of the coronavirus, this new one being Delta. But then at the same time, you've got companies for the vaccine, such as Moderna, that's saying, hey, we've tested the Delta variant, with our Moderna, and, hey, people are good. People are good. They are protected against this Delta variant. So that's encouraging news to hear. I would imagine it's not going to be that long, unless it's already been revealed that Pfizer and J&J have had similar experiences in their preliminary testing. We'll have to wait and see. But I haven't, last I heard, I haven't seen or heard anything yet. But it doesn't mean that information hasn't already came out from them respectfully. So, I mean, we're getting there. I mean, we're going to be dealing with COVID and all that. We're going to be dealing with this. It's not like a year later it's going to be gone. We're going to be dealing with this for a couple of more years at least. I mean, this is going to be, if you were to ask me just to kind of get it down to 10% or maybe 5%, probably about 3 years. Tops. Probably about 3 years tops is probably how long it's going to take before we can really get it down to that level. But we're getting there, one piece at a time, one day at a time, 1 month at a time. We're getting there. We're getting back to that sense of normalcy. I tell you, it's crazy, because there's some places that I'm now going to where they'll either still require that you wear a mask regardless of your vaccination status, or they'll say, hey, masks are encouraged, but not mandatory. You come on in here. So it's nice to see these establishments loosen up compared to where we were just a handful of months ago, man. Seriously, just a handful of months ago. What else? So look, let me talk about this whole. Actually, we'll get into that. I was about to get into the whole Bill Cosby thing, but since that's non-wrestling related, let me get into a couple of quick little wrestling little tidbits. I'll sign off on something sports related too. Shout out to B Priestley. B Priestley is now joining the NXT UK division as Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport. Apparently WWE have filed a new trademark application for that ring name. If you've been watching the NXT UK product, you've already seen, vignettes for her and everything. So, FYI. Also, rest in peace to Patriot. The Patriot, Dale Wilkes, passed away. Passed away at the age of 59. Relatively young, man. Very sorry to hear that. Here's a guy right here, standout football player for the University of South Carolina. I mean, man, a great American. Then he switches the game up, takes his talents over into the pro wrestling industry. Badass. Fucking badass. Was working for the WWE in the late 90s. Yeah. Heart Foundation. Who else did he feud with? Oh yeah, didn't he have a match against Bret Hart for the WWE Championship? Yeah. So, just, wow, 59 years old. That is just crazy to hear, man. And then let's not forget, several years later, it would be Hulk Hogan that would try his hand at the Patriot. Remember that? Oh man, what a fun time that was. The Hulkster under that mask. Oh, don't even get me started on that. But man, 59. 59. That's wrestled for Global Force, All Japan, the AWA, All Japan, WCW, just decorated, just nice, long, decorated career. So rest in peace. Thoughts, condolences with the friends, family, colleagues of the Patriot, Del Wilkes. Also, WWE made the announcement of 3 new Performance Center recruits. 3 new Performance Center recruits. I've got the press release for these guys. You got Fichang Wang, who stands 6'2", weighs 242. Chinese recruit, trained for the ring by former WWE PC coach Hartley Jackson and Japanese wrestler and mixed martial artist Alexander Asuka. Then you got Shen Tan, who comes to the Performance Center from Singapore, where he competed under the name Trexus, 25 years of age, former Singapore Pro Wrestling Southeast Asia champion. Then you have Jia Ying, who is a Chinese athlete who brings experience in CrossFit to the Performance Center. In addition to being a champion indoor rower, Yen placed second in the CrossFit China Open and competed in the Asia CrossFit Championship. So, looking at their pictures so far, I'm not going to single anybody out because I don't want somebody to feel as though they're on a shit list, but just looking, just pretending to be a guy that's just sitting there looking at some photographs of some people I may be interested in doing some stuff with for a wrestling promotion. 2 of these people I can definitely see going about 3 to 7 years, give or take, be healthy and all that. You got the creative engine behind you. 2 of these 3 people I can see, you're going to be able to do a little something in the WWE for sure. You're going to be able to do a little something. One of them I'm not too sure about. One of them kind of gives me the vibe, quick cup of coffee, and then they're going to go on and do something else. That's how they come off to me. Shaquille O'Neal has been making the news. He is teasing that a match with Paul White in AEW most likely will most likely happen, as he was quoted saying, "Shouldn't be any problems now." Yeah, his direct quote, "There shouldn't be any problems for us getting together now. Last time there was a lot of bureaucracy and red tape. Now there is no red tape. I'm still kind of sore from that table, so I'm going to work out during the summer, pump these muscles up, and I'll be waiting for you, Mr. Paul." So you can't help but wonder exactly, what kind of red tape was going on. What kind of red tape was going on there the last go round, Was it a money issue? What exactly was going on? That's kind of one of those questions like you gotta probe. You just gotta fucking probe. And as far as, it's interesting because the people that had conducted this interview, if there was ever let me go in a little bit further here, what exactly was that red tape? What exactly, as far as, what's the exact word that, the bureaucracy, what was exactly the red tape? What exactly was the bureaucracy? You feel where I'm coming from? So, very, yeah. Shout out to Kylie Ray. I meant to say this earlier while I was still talking about Brandy and them, but again, love in the air and all that good shit. You got Kylie Ray, who announced that she is getting, or actually no, she got married. She got married to her longtime boyfriend. Shit. Congrats to Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. I can't believe I almost forgot about that. They officially had tied the knot. Beautiful outfits. Fucking Becky Lynch, beautiful red dress. Pretty little girl with a red dress on. That's actually a song. Look it up. But yeah, that is awesome, man. It's all. See what I started? You see what I can't take off for now. I'm kidding. I'm fucking kidding. So good shit right there. Impact Wrestling, they are going to be welcoming fans back to their shows at their post Slammiversary tapings. The tapings will be going down July 18th and 19th, following Slammiversary on July 17th. Tickets are going to be going on sale. Should be on sale like right now, believe it or not. So I think day one today was for the tickets. So go check that out when you guys get a chance. Hopefully, by the way, for your AEW fans, hopefully you were able to get a hold of a pre-order for the AEW World Heavyweight title. I know they were only putting out a limited number. If you tried to go on their site thinking you were just going to be able to buy it outright, no, it's gone. It disappeared. So they only had that available for a limited time there. I'm sure that's most likely a nice little test run. See what they're going to be able to do, and if it's banging like that, they'll probably bring it back and have even more quantities be available for folks to check out. So all right, so one last thing we can get into as we get ready to wind down here, pretty much wrap it up. Look, my thoughts in regards to Bill Cosby and what happened here with this loophole. And I don't even need to be long-winded or drawn out about this. What I'm getting ready to say is just my personal opinion. It's not about getting into a debate with people about this either. It's not. It's one thing if you want to have dialogue and you want to sound off your opinion and have a nice peaceful meeting of the minds. I'm down with that. I can appreciate that. But for me, I'm pretty much just one and done with regards to this. So, look, the fact that Bill Cosby got out due large in part to that loophole. Hey, you know what? It sucks. If you're pissed, and I would imagine the women that felt that they were victims of Cosby, they're pissed. I get that. That's a serious injustice. I get that. But you know what? Ultimately, it is the job of these prosecutors. They got to make sure that all their X's and O's are crossed off, and they fucking got this. It is fucking money in the bank. No pun intended, but it is money in the bank. And, what's the name of the female lawyer that was representing all those women against Cosby? That was, pretty much the prosecutor. This woman is so well known. I mean, she is the celebrity lawyer freaking go-to person. I mean, she has had some big name clients over the decades. How was this missed? How? I'm trying to understand that. How was that missed? It's like, isn't it ultimately your job? Especially if you're trying to prosecute somebody, isn't it your job to make sure that all the X's and O's are covered so that no loopholes like this can come about? I mean, seriously. So his sentence was overturned. And that's one hell of a loophole. That's one hell of a loophole. I mean, it almost reminds you of an episode of The Practice, or of The Practice, or some shit like that. It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. But stunning as it is, and I'm kind of speechless just thinking about it, but all this shit had went down Wednesday. I mean, everybody, this was pretty much the major lead of every single news outlet that was out there. And, what do you say to that? If you got the loophole that's there, you didn't fucking do your job appropriately, then this is what happens. This is what should happen. To have it not happen truly is a injustice. Nobody, look, it's easy for some of us to come on here and say that, oh, he's not guilty. It's very easy to say that. But I look at this and I say, okay, you know what? Let's follow the evidence here. Let's follow these victims and their impact statements, their accounts. It's like, really? We're going to say that all of these women are truly lying? All of these women are just ganging up on somebody, just for the fucking hell of it? You have, you can't say it was a race thing because, some of these women were biracial, some were black, you had some white ones in there. So, you can't just say, oh, this was just an entire freaking lynch mob against this black celebrity because he's black and look at all these victims, they're white. So you can't go just that narrow-minded. You can't just go that particular route. What was one of the biggest problems that this Cosby case, in my eyes, that was a significant problem, was the fact that, okay, you know what, even if these crimes did happen, the limitation stature to, hey, I want to press charges had expired for a lot of these victims. And then you had that one victim, and that's where we really need to home in on. You had that one victim where the limitation of stature was about to expire in like a couple of months, and pretty much all the eggs were put into that basket, and it was like, okay, this combined with the impact statements, that's how we're gonna get his ass. When in actuality, the original lawyer, if I remember this right, and I'll have to rely on you guys, basically the original lawyer, involved in the case, basically there was some type of a deal that was pretty much made. And so I just don't understand how anybody could have missed that. I really don't. I really, really don't. But we're here where we are. So I would imagine that for victims that truly, and really hear me on this, I would imagine that victims that have truly been sexually assaulted, been raped, that are looking at this verdict right now, it's probably a crushing blow to them, because statistics have shown that women who have been sexually violated, that have been raped, what have you, they're already nervous. They're already embarrassed as it is about bringing what happened to them physically to light, because they fear ultimately that they won't be believed. And you know why? Because history has shown time and time again that when a female has claimed rape, sexual assault, it tends to fall on deaf ears, because the typical mindset from some men, oh, you had it coming. You lying, with that outfit, your nice little figure, you knew you wanted it, you got that level of ignorance that's out there. So to see what happened in the Cosby case, I would imagine how much of a crushing blow it is, for legit victims, and it makes them feel as though, well, there's no point in coming forward if I was sexually assaulted or raped, because look what's gonna happen. All you need is some money and pretty much know the right people and find whatever loophole you can, and you'll get out free and you can do whatever all over again. So yeah, yeah. Now, Bill Cosby has donated a lot of time and money out here to DC. And let me tell you, being at the one of the heartbeats here, particularly, he's donated a lot of time and his financial resources to Harvard University. I can tell you, here in DC, that's a hot topic. I remember when everything had first went down, it was so divided. You had people that refused to believe that he was even capable of doing the things that was coming to light, because to admit that would be to admit that, okay, even America's TV dad has his flaws, has his issues. Even he is not perfect. Because that's the thing with society: when a certain celebrity, when a certain athlete, when a certain personality comes into our lives that we ultimately become infatuated with, we hold them on such a high pedestal that when they do have their moment where we go, oh wow, hey, they're human after all, just like us. Most people, hey, it happens. But man, the media, just as quick as they build you up, the media is also very quick to tear you down. So I remember when all that shit had first came about, it was very divided. And I remember when I was still working for the market research company, I remember how when the verdict had came out and he was found guilty, I remember how quietly, because we would do this at the office, if there was like a piece of news or something that we wanted to share with everybody, because usually everybody was on the phones, doing some stuff, we would normally just print out a little something from the copy room, and we would go in the break room and we basically would put it on the refrigerator, or we would put it on the cabinet, so as people were waiting for their food, they could kind of see a couple of interesting little headlines or whatever. And I just remember, I had posted the news about him being found guilty, and that thing did not even make it 30 minutes before somebody had tore it down, actually tore it up. So it's people are divided, and I would imagine here we are yet again, not just in DC but all around the world. There's going to be people that's going to be divided yet again. It's going to be a hot topic yet again in regards to this. Now, Felicia Rashad. So she's the new incoming dean at Howard University. And I got to tell you guys, when I had first heard the news that she was becoming the new dean, I said, wow, well, you know what? As far as what the future holds for me, and, once I'm done with my 2-year community college, and I'm ready to transfer to a 4-year, for me, I was going back and forth with, okay, is it going to be University of Maryland or is it going to be Howard? Which is going to be Howard? Which one am I doing here? Both had their pluses, a couple of cons here and there, but I ended up, 80% of me was like, I want to fucking do Howard. And I was on Howard as soon as the news came out that Felicia Rashad was going to be the incoming dean. I said, okay, I got to start doing my research. I want to, because I was already doing some stuff on Howard, but now I got to the point where I had all the information that I needed to, okay, once I get my 2-year, okay, as far as transferring, all this other shit, I'm ready to go. But then for Felicia Rashad to put out the initial statement that she put out, I don't know if you guys are even aware of that statement that she had put out. But to put out the initial statement, and I'll actually read it to you guys, and leave it to Aunt Viv, the original Aunt Viv from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, to pretty much put her in place there. The original post that Felicia Rashad put out, once Bill Cosby was set free, finally a terrible wrong is being righted. A miscarriage of justice is corrected. The backlash, without a doubt, very immediate, very swift, very immediate. And she is a intellectual. So to not put significant thought into that post. Now look, I'm actually going to defend Felicia Rashad, believe it or not. I'm going to defend her from this standpoint. What she said is essentially correct. If you think about what all I just said prior, Cosby had no business being tried and all that. Remember, all the eggs put in that basket for that one particular case where the limit of stature, it was about to expire in a couple of months, but they pretty much had went on that, and that pretty much was already taken care of. So that's why the Supreme Court ultimately, not only did they overrule, but they said, hey, you can't just go back and do this again. You're permitted from, no, this is it. We're done with this. So Felicia Rashad, if you're looking at it from the standpoint of, okay, as far as the legal technicalities go, we may not like it, but from a legal technicality, she's actually correct. Where she is totally wrong, however, is being so insensitive to the victims of sexual abuse, rape, violence, especially those that legit may have been victims of Cosby. So, even though it took her about 20 minutes to come right back and try to kiss up to the victims there, and it's like, nah, the damage is already done. Janet Hubert, the original Aunt Viv on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, she handed Felicia Rashad her ass. She said to her, Felicia, what are you thinking? I don't know you, but to say this was terribly wrong. Everyone knew what he was doing back then. How could you not? Get your umbrella, sister. Here comes the shit shower. I am outraged that he has been released. Yes, he is a old ass guilty man. Howard University initially had released a statement, and they pretty much said, hey, the incoming dean's comments, that her initial comments does not reflect our views and the insensitivity of that initial post, blah, blah, blah. But by all accounts, it would appear that she did not get any type of a slap on the wrists and all that. But you know what? With this woke crowd that we got that's running around with the whole Black Lives Matter and Me Too movement, still going extremely strong. I would not be surprised if it hasn't already started yet. I would not be surprised if there is already petitions from some Howard University students that pretty much are saying, no, I'm not interested in this person coming in as a dean, knowing their initial comments about this issue. No. And if you have this person come in as the dean, we're boycotting. We're not, we're taking our money elsewhere. We're going to go to another institution. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that was already underway, or if there is basically calls for Felicia Rashad to meet with, organizations, maybe rape prevention, things of that nature. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some type of an attachment there where, look, you need to meet hands-on with some of these organizations, some of these establishments. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those two scenarios were to happen. But make no mistake about it. People are going to be, once again. Now, look, me personally, let's bring it home. Me personally, as far as Bill Cosby is concerned, for me, as a looking at him as a comedian and a person of interest in pop culture, I never gravitated towards him. I never did. I never cared for his stuff. Fat Albert, didn't particularly care for it. When he was that superhero back in the day with those live action joints, didn't particularly care for it. Watched it, but like for me, it didn't click. The Cosby Show, and it's so funny too because the Cosby Show ended up. And this is way before the verdict had came out. This was like several weeks ago. The Cosby Show. My professor, who's black, my classmates, a good majority. Let's see, we got Hispanic, we got black, we got white, we got Asian. So we got all the colors in there. Didn't particularly care for the Cosby Show. Now some of us that did watch the Cosby Show and we were kids back then, you know, we mainly gravitated towards the Raven Simones, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Lisa Bonet, and I mean, once A Different World had launched, I mean, we all pretty much had, I don't know about you guys, but once A Different World launched, I felt that was more, you know, even though I wasn't a teenager yet, I felt I gravitated and related more to the cast members on A Different World, you know, as opposed to, okay, so we're, what, you just want me to watch for Felicia Rashad and Bill Cosby? Like, you know, so if you were around my age when the Cosby Show had first came out, you didn't particularly care for, you know, and one thing that's been a constant theme with those that I have talked about in regards to the Cosby Show, man, how fucking fake was that show? It's like, how many black families do you know that honestly were operating like that? And then just the lack of not tackling social political events that might have been happening during that time. For example, you know, drugs was definitely on the rise. The gang violence, it was like this picture perfect fucking world. It was like the black Leave It to Beaver sitcom, basically. Right? It was like too fucking perfect. And that's why you had so many minorities, such as myself, that, nah, man, you know what? Good times. Fuck, when Roseanne. How about that? Didn't get no more realer than Roseanne when you followed a blue collar, hard-working family that was trying to do their best to get by, but definitely were struggling paying the bills and all that. I mean, that Roseanne show was really tapping into what was going on in pop culture, you know? So maybe that's why I'm probably answering my own question, but maybe that's why a lot of us had gravitated towards A Different World and other shows within reason. But my comedians growing up, the comedians that like left such an impression on me in the most positive way when I was a kid growing up, definitely not Cosby. For me, Red Fox, Andrew Dice Clay, Rodney Dangerfield, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Robert Townsend, Bernie Mac. Oh, you know what? And there was also that one comedian. God, I can't think of his name will come to me in a hot second. Fucking Bebe's Kids, that one comedian, and he died. I think he died shortly after. I think he died right after Do the Right Thing. Bebe's Kids. See, that's gonna bother me now. I gotta look up that guy's name. Bebe's Kids. I'm gonna have the name in a couple of seconds, so bear with me a second. I'm gonna have the name in a couple of seconds. Robin Harris. I fuck with Robin Harris. Those were my main go-to guys. Those guys I thought were just the funniest motherfuckers, and I used to try to follow as much of their work as humanly possible. George Carlin as well, Bill Hicks. You know, what do all of those guys have in common? All of those guys kept it fucking real. They kept it as authentic as possible. They gave it to you right between the eyes. Fuck, even Paul Mooney. I can't believe I almost forgot about Paul Mooney. I gotta make sure I throw him in there as well. Yeah, those were pretty much the guys that I grew up on. So, to each its own, but that's just where I stand. So, y'all wanted my thoughts. I know for sure you wanted my thoughts on that, because I do see the analytics, I see the retention time, I see the age demos of those of you that check out the show and everything. So I'm one and done. Now look, again, I don't mind you guys, even if you disagree with a lot of the points that I have brought up. I don't mind you guys that leave comments. I read any and everything that comes my way. All I ask is that you just be respectful and be very civil, and make your point. Make your point and all that. I don't mind that friendly dialogue, but it's not about going into debate. It's not going into heated conflict. We don't need all that damn drama. But yeah, I mean, one thing for certain, just to kind of close out on that, we can all be in agreement on, no matter where we stand on this whole issue. One thing that we can all agree upon, his career is done. And anybody that tries to associate themselves with him, the scrutiny that they are going to be under. Yeah, you're most likely going to have some people behind closed doors that's going to be calling him and all that other good shit. But as far as being seen in public, it ain't happening. So, hopefully, yeah. So, FYI, yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to just leave it right there. So, shout out to the Phoenix Suns. They advance to the NWA. I said NWA. Sorry. Yeah, I got some rap on my mind. The NBA. They advanced to the NBA Finals. I'm very excited for Chris Paul. What a phenomenal performance that he had the other night. 41 points, and just the way he put that team on his back, and just being so close, tasting it, and just rising to the occasion. I mean, he really put that fucking team on his back. I mean, here's a guy that's been in the league now for like 16 years. And he's come close a couple of times, but never quite this far. He's had a couple of leads in the playoffs over other teams, and somehow it ended up just diminishing. And for him to get to where he is right now, look, without a shadow of doubt, without the NBA Finals, he's a future NBA Hall of Famer, without a doubt. But man, getting that piece of hardware, just one time getting that hardware, man, that puts you on that list, and it elevates you and gets you into that joint even more. And I mean, he's got the picture perfect, awesome fucking resume. When you just go in, I mean, we'd be here for 10 minutes just going over everything that he's accomplished in his NBA career, but very decorated. It's an impressive resume. So to finally get to the NBA Finals, that's fucking badass. That is fucking badass. And if I'm not mistaken, I got to go back and listen to the previous episode. If I'm not mistaken, I think I said Bucks, Clippers for the NBA Finals. I gotta watch the NBA on TNT. I gotta see what's going on with Giannis' status and all that. Because honestly, if Giannis ain't playing, then yeah, that's most likely going to be Hawks. I mean, either way, it's going to be a good matchup. Regardless, if you do Bucks, Suns, or Hawks, Suns, it's going to be a fantastic series either way. But yeah, that I think I'm pretty sure I said Clippers for the NBA Finals, and I took into consideration that there was no Kawhi Leonard, so I was just that confident that they were going to be able to do what they needed to do, the Clippers that is. And look, Paul George, playoff P, he did his part. But you know what? This offseason, they got to do a better job, because from what I've seen of the Clippers, you really need a definitive 3-piece. Hell, maybe even a 4-piece, but you need a definitive 3-piece. You really, really do. You can't just have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Where is your Shaquille O'Neal? You feel where I'm coming from? Where's your Shaquille O'Neal? Where is your Dennis Rodman, or your Blake Griffin, or your Patrick Beverly? You know, your Charles Barkley. Where where's that thug? You know, when it counts the most, and you got to get them rebounds, you got to get them blocks, and you know you need that really good playmaker, that really good facilitator. Where is your Robert Horry, or your Horace Grant, or your Steve Kerr? Right now, all I see in the Clippers, I just see a two-piece. That's all I see, a definitive two-piece. I really do not see anybody else in my eyes. This is open for good debate too, because I'm curious where you guys are that's been seeing the NBA series. But that's where I am mentally. That's where I am mentally right now. They got some work to do in the off season. They do. They got to get some better, stronger complementary pieces for Paul George and Kawhi. They got to get some better pieces. But yeah, that was just. What a hell of a performance. What a hell of a performance by the Suns. I fucking love that. So yeah. So programming notes. All right, so this is it. We're done. We're not doing anything this weekend. But Patreon members, we are going to have something be available for you guys to check out with me and the missus. We'll definitely be doing a new Wrestling with the Topics for you guys. Now's the time. Definitely sign up on Patreon. Patreon.com/RCWR show. Again, patreon.com/RCWR show. Check out exclusive audio, video content, great majority of which you won't be able to find anywhere else. Let's see. Our next show, I will free for all show on that matter will be on Monday, July 5th. So again, I'm going to be doing the WWE Raw Thunderdome that last time. So definitely, I'll show you guys what I'm wearing and all that, and you just make sure you represent, and hopefully you'll be able to spot me. But I'll have the show pretty much ready to go live, because I'm pretty much going to be right in front of the computer anyway. So as soon as Raw goes off the air, boom, I'm pretty much going to be right there, and we'll be talking Raw Fallout, all that good stuff. Let's see what else. I feel like I'm forgetting something else, but I don't think I am. So yeah. Patreon members, you get something this weekend. Free for all edition of the RCWR show. For those of you who want to check in, that's going to be on Monday, July the 5th. Meantime, be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads. And hey, man, as you get ready to make your exit, please, if you made it this far and you enjoyed yourself here, whenever you're checking this out, please go out of your way. Make sure you hit that like button. Helps me out tremendously as it pushes out our content from this channel, YouTube, particularly with YouTube, out more for folks to be able to check out with these. Also, feel free to hit that subscribe button as well. But if anything, just make sure you hit that like button. It's free, don't cost you a thing, helps us out tremendously. Appreciate the love and the support as always. Shout out to those of you that tuned in live and joined me, left a few comments here and there. I was reading what you guys were saying. Shout out particularly to those that's going to be watching this on demand that may be leaving comments. Appreciate that in advance. Audio version of this will be available within the next give me about 30 to 45 minutes, and I'll actually have this up online for everybody to check out. Okay, hey, have a fantastic, safe 4th of July weekend. If you're gonna be drinking, please don't drive. You got so many options. Do a Uber, do a Lyft, have a friend drive you home. You got so many options. Don't be stupid, okay? You're gonna drink, don't drive. Simple as that. Want to hear from you guys next week. Hear how your 4th of July weekend went and everything. So unless you have other plans, hey, hope you have a great weekend. Wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. And I will see you guys next go round. Y'all take care.